This story follows a young boy named Mike, an ordinary kid destined for something far greater, becoming a legendary warrior, the Outslayer of the gods, the sun. But there's a twist. Mike is blind. So how does he transform from an average boy into the powerful Michael? That's the journey we'll explore in this tale. The story begins with a news report announcing an exceptionally clear night sky. The moon is brighter than ever, with no clouds or pollution obstructing the view, making it appear crystal clear. On a rooftop, we see a young boy holding a telescope, our main character, Mike. As he gazes at the moon, an eerie sensation washes over him. Suddenly, he feels as if a massive statue stands before him. And in an instant, he's transported to another realm. But this isn't another world, it's his spiritual dimension. Mike senses the overwhelming presence of powerful gods towering before him. As he looks upon them, something strange happens. His eyes begin to stir with an unknown force. In that moment, he gains extraordinary powers. But at a devastating cost, his eyesight begins to fade. Fast forward a few years, and we find Mike standing among a crowd on the roadside. Now permanently blind, he always wears a cloth over his eyes. His journey from Mike to Michael is just beginning. Mike may be blind, but his heightened sixth sense allows him to navigate the world effortlessly. He can move through any space without hesitation or difficulty. One day, a little girl nervously approaches him, asking, "Can you help me cross the street?" She's scared to go alone because she isn't used to being outside much. Mike, however, already knows exactly when the traffic light will turn green. The moment the light changes and the pedestrian signal beeps, he instinctively senses it's time to cross. Without fear, he confidently takes the girl's hand and steps forward, completely assured in his movements. Seeing his unwavering confidence, others on the sidewalk begin following him, their eyes wide with shock. How can a blind man walk with such certainty? As Mike continues on his way, he encounters familiar faces, people who see him doing this every day. Yet, they're always left in awe. Mike is unlike anyone else. Since childhood, he has told people that he once saw the moon angel, an event that left him blind. But no one has ever believed him. Some even whisper that he's faking it. Yet Mike proves them wrong time and time again. Even with a blindfold covering his eyes, he moves with a precision that defies logic. One day, as kids play soccer nearby, a ball comes flying straight toward him. Before anyone can react, Mike effortlessly dodges it without even looking. People are stunned. How does he do it? Despite being blind and having no parents to support him, Mike remains unfazed. What others see as struggles, he sees as just another part of life. Even when bullied, he never lets it get to him. He doesn't care who's with him or against him. Not just people. Even fish in the water seem to sense there's something special about him. Mike finally makes his way home, where his younger brother, Lynn, is waiting for him outside the building, calling his name. As he steps inside, his aunt greets him with a familiar question. "Mike, why do you always bring back so much stuff? And how do you even know what's good and what's not?" Mike simply smiles and replies, "I only buy things that are verified." His aunt sighs. "You shouldn't waste your talent like this. You should go to college." Before Mike can respond, Lynn hands him a pair of goggles. "Keep these with you," he says. Just then, his aunt reminds him, "By the way, your doctor has been waiting for you inside for quite some time now." Mike heads straight to the examination room, where his doctor checks his eyes and mental health. "Your eye surgery will be complete soon," the doctor informs him. "You'll be able to go to school again." He then asks, "Are you still hallucinating?" Mike shakes his head. "What about your dreams, are they still like before? You should be sleeping properly. No headaches either, right?" But Mike isn't really listening. His mind drifts to an event that happened 100 years ago, an event that no one seems to care about anymore. A strange, dense fog had once spread from Antarctica at an alarming rate, as if it intended to consume the entire world. But what was even stranger was that the fog stopped abruptly at the border of Dacia. Every civilization that exists today, in some way, owes its survival to Ndaya. But what confuses Mike is why no one seems to question what really happened a century ago. What was in that fog? Why did no one who entered it ever return? And more importantly, what is still hidden from the eyes of the world? Mike remembers how, as a child, Doctors tried all kinds of extreme treatments to fix him, only making things worse. Everyone believed he was just seeing illusions. But as the years passed and life seemingly returned to normal, Mike realized a harsh truth. If he wanted to survive in this world, he had only one option lie. Because even now, nothing has really changed. The only difference is he no longer tells anyone about it. At that moment, the doctor asks Mike, "Do you truly believe that God exists anywhere in this world?" Mike shakes his head. "No, not even a little. It was just an illusion in my mind, something I convinced myself was real." The doctor nods. "All right, then tell me this. Do you believe in mythical monsters?" Mike hesitates, thinking. "There's fog everywhere, covering the entire world. Except for our city, Daya. I have no idea what exists beyond that fog." As he speaks, we see a glimpse of that hidden world. Deep within a tunnel, monstrous creatures lurk, attacking workers before they can escape. But just before all hope is lost, a new figure arrives, an elite warrior known as a Slayer. This warrior wields extraordinary weapons and supernatural abilities, including a powerful staff that slices through monsters with unmatched precision. Her combat skills are breathtaking, every movement calculated and deadly. As the battle ends, she contacts her team. "I've cleared the East Tunnel. The rest of you, finish the job." We then meet more members of the elite Slayers, each possessing unique supernatural powers. 2 warriors draw their legendary swords, ready for battle. Their strikes are so swift that even the most powerful monsters fall instantly. Then, another fighter steps in, a sniper with unparalleled precision. His bullets cut through the fog, piercing any creature that dares to escape. With his high-tech weapons, survival is impossible for the monsters. Just as a few attempt to flee, a single explosive shot wipes them out completely. Yet, despite their victory, the Slayers remain on high alert. Something feels off. They suspect that some monsters have survived and are trying to escape into the city. Overseeing the entire operation is a mastermind, the strategist of the group, monitoring all movements across Daya. Meanwhile, we meet another Slayer Laos chasing down the remaining monsters. "We're almost done," he assures his team. "Just a little more." But the reality is far worse than they expected. The monsters aren't just running away, they're climbing higher, preparing to invade the city. Laos knows he must act fast. He pushes himself, climbing flight after flight of stairs, determined to reach them before it's too late. Meanwhile, the team's leader gives a final command. "Everyone, move faster. We can't let them escape." The battlefield is chaotic, but one thing is clear. The Slayers are the only ones standing between humanity and total annihilation. Now, all eyes are on Lao Zhao. He's the only one left who hasn't taken down a monster yet. The pressure is on. "And just give me a little more time," Lao Zhao mutters. "I'm about to take these bastards down." But before he can make a move, one of his teammates offers, "Do you need backup?" Lao Zhao shakes his head. "I got this." Without hesitation, he launches into battle, wielding his flying fire spear. In just seconds, 2 monsters are obliterated. He sets his sights on the last remaining one, but before he can strike, his teammate swoops in, finishing it off in one swift motion. Frustrated, Lao Zhao groans, "Come on, at least leave one for me. Am I even a Slayer if I don't get to slay anything?" Meanwhile, Dr. Mike's attending physician isn't just an ordinary doctor. He has powerful connections. After finishing Mike's checkup, the doctor quietly leaves, and later, during dinner, Mike's aunt asks, "So, Mike, what did the doctor say?" Mike replies casually, "He said my vision is perfectly fine, and my head is in great shape." His aunt nods but looks concerned. "When will you be able to go back to school?" Then, after a pause, she adds, "I just hope they don't bully you again." Before Mike can respond, his younger brother Lin chimes in, "Don't worry, I'll go with you tomorrow." Mike shakes his head. "Nah, don't bother. Trust me, I'll be fine. In fact, it's time for me to start a new life." Later that night, Mike lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. "Aunt Dr. Lin, I'm sorry. The truth is he had lied." His eyesight still wasn't back to normal. Hours passed as he lay awake, haunted by visions of the goddess. The same dream, the same pain. Why did that angel burn my eyes? For 5 years, he had been searching for answers. Ever since that day, a strange ability awakened within him. He could sense everything around him, even with his eyes closed. But this power only raised more questions. And Dr. Lin? Mike wasn't sure he could trust him. A normal doctor wouldn't ask the kinds of strange, almost supernatural questions that Lin did. This all started 5 years ago with a dream. We cut to Mike's nightmare. He's in a thick, swirling fog surrounded by mysterious buildings, ancient, crumbling structures filled with strange, unseen forces. Dark figures lurk in the shadows. He's seen these buildings many times before in his visions, but never once has he been able to step inside. Until now, he stands before a towering gate, an eerie inscription glowing on its surface. Asylum of the Gods. Mike's heart pounds. Could the answers be inside? Could I finally see the gods? Mike had already made up his mind, no matter what. He was going to open that door. The moment he touched it, the entire space around him started to tremble. These past 5 years, I've never been this close, he muttered. I've never even dared to lay a hand on this door. I never searched for the answers, but I know. Every answer I seek lies inside this asylum. Determined, he started working on cracking the lab's lock, trying to find a way to open the door. The next day, we see Mike heading to school for the first time in a long while. He kept a blindfold wrapped around his eyes, yet walked with the confidence of someone who could see everything around him. To the other students, this was anything but normal. How the hell is a blind guy moving like that? They whispered among themselves. When he entered the classroom, he was met with classmates who were unusually friendly. Some even wanted to be his friends. "Do you guys even know me?" Mike asked, suspicious. One of the girls explained, "Your aunt asked us a while ago to befriend you." It made sense now. Everyone was just being nice out of obligation. But Mike didn't mind. If anything, it was a reminder that he had to work even harder. He needed to study to find answers, to uncover the truth about what had happened to him. His classes, however, were boring to almost everyone except him. That day, they were learning about the mysterious fog that spread across the world. While the others barely paid attention, Mike was laser-focused. "I'm going to change my life," he told himself. That night, Mike and his classmates left school together. They insisted on walking him home, even though he repeatedly told them, "Trust me, I can make it on my own. We promised your aunt we'd look after you, and we're going to keep that promise," one of them reassured him. But Mike couldn't help but feel frustrated. "Why do people treat me like I'm sick?" he thought. "I can function just fine on my own." As they walked, the group started chatting about a beautiful girl from school. But they had no idea that something terrifying was about to happen. One of the students reached his house and said goodbye, heading inside. The rest continued walking until one of the girls suddenly stopped. "Do you guys smell that?" she asked. It was a strange, nauseating stench. Before they could react, the putrid odor became unbearable, making them gag. Then, in the blink of an eye, the creatures appeared. Monsters. The sight of them sent a wave of pure terror through the group. These weren't just any monsters. These were horrific, grotesque creatures that looked so deadly, so utterly terrifying, that anyone would be paralyzed with fear. A distress call was immediately sent to Laojiao. Reports of monsters attacking people in the city had already been circulating, but now, lives were in immediate danger. "Get there as fast as you can," his commander ordered. Meanwhile, the boy who had just left the group was running for his life, sprinting through the streets as fast as his legs could carry him. Mike keeps pushing past his friends, determined to escape, but suddenly, a monstrous creature blocks his path. Realizing the danger, Mike yells at his teammate, "Run! I'll hold it off!" He tries to flee as well, but he isn't fast enough. One of the monsters fixates on him, chasing him relentlessly. As Mike keeps running, another horrifying creature appears in front of him, chewing on a human hand. He's trapped. Just then, Laojiao activates a barrier that allows humans to pass through but traps the monsters inside. The people in the city watch in shock, struggling to comprehend what just happened. Laojiao's team receives orders to reach the location immediately, while Laojiao himself is told to join the battlefield as soon as the barrier's up. Meanwhile, Mike finds himself standing alone, armed with nothing but a wooden stake, while the ravenous monsters prepare to attack. He recalls a childhood memory staring at the moon, falling off the roof and losing his eyesight. "People thought I was crazy when I talked about the monsters," he mutters. "But here they are, right in front of me. This was supposed to be the start of a new life for me, Mike says, tightening his grip on the stake. I won't let it end at the hands of these disgusting creatures. Though he tries to fight back, he's just an ordinary human. But something begins to change. His anger fuels his strength. His reflexes become sharper. And then suddenly, the bandages over his eyes fall off. With all his might, he throws a devastating punch at the monster, and in that instant, he sees the asylum of the gods. A forbidden place, where something is trying to break free. The monster retaliates, biting deep into Mike's shoulder, but he doesn't stop. Summoning every ounce of strength, he drives his stake straight into the creature's gut. Another monster rushes toward him, but Mike fights back using nothing but his sheer willpower. Every strike he lands against the monsters sends shockwaves through the asylum of the gods, weakening its locks. But soon he's overwhelmed. Several monsters pin him down, trying to tear him apart. Then it happens. Mike finally unleashes Aylmer, breaking the final seal. A divine entity watches from above, an ancient goddess witnessing his transformation. In that moment, an immense energy surges through Mike, his eyes radiating a terrifying power. Phew! A beam of scorching light erupts from them, piercing the sky. The sheer heat melts the surrounding glass. Laojo and the other Slayers witness the spectacle, feeling the surge of energy. It's as if a new power has been born, one of them says in awe. Their leader confirms it. Not this. This is divine power. Mike's newfound abilities include burning sacred strength and the breath of creation. Forces so overwhelming that they feel like the birth of a new god. In that moment, he's no longer just Mike, he is reborn as a Michael, the king of angels. The prophecy has come true. A divine agent has awakened in a new form. As the transformation completes, Mike's vision is miraculously restored. He looks around, seeing the world clearer than ever before. The God of Michael has risen. At the same time, he unlocked the doors to the Asylum of the Gods, revealing 6 secret rooms, each belonging to a different god. The energy radiating from Mike's body was so intense that even the monsters were terrified. But they didn't hesitate for long. One by one, they lunged at him, ready to attack. However, Mike's newfound powers and vision had enhanced his reflexes so much that with just a single strike, he could completely annihilate these monsters. In that moment, another monster launched an attack, but Mike dodged effortlessly and smirked, taunting, "Come on, let's see what you got." His attacks were relentless, almost godlike. The story had taken a new turn, introducing a moon god side of Mike. He fought so brutally that even monsters wouldn't treat humans with such savagery. Armed with nothing but a small rod, he slaughtered the demons mercilessly. But no matter how many he took down, more kept coming. Then, just as the god of Michael was about to unleash his full power, his combat style became so mesmerizing that any onlooker would be in awe. He barely needed to use his weapon. The sheer speed of his attacks was enough to create a massacre. Within moments, he had wiped out nearly all of them. But one final furious monster remained. It charged at Mike with all its might only for a new character to make his grand entrance. Lao Zhao. Lao Zhao moved at lightning speed, tearing through the monster with expert precision. It was as if he had been waiting for this moment. One by one, he cut the creatures down, his unique fighting style leaving no room for defense. In the blink of an eye, he had decapitated the monster without anyone realizing what had happened. Mike watched in shock. Lao Zhao smirked and asked, "Kid, how do you think I did?" Mike nodded. "Pretty good, and you're pretty handsome too," Lao Zhao laughed. "So, kid, do you want to be like me?" But Mike didn't hesitate. "Nope," he said, casually turning away in style. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the palace of the demigods, where the major gods had gathered. The news had spread another divine agent of the gods had been born. They called him Michael's divine agent. Everyone knew who Michael was, but the real Michael was nowhere to be found. Panic spread among the gods. Michael had to be found. No matter what, he had to return. Back on Earth, we see a truck driving along a deserted road. The driver, speaking on his phone, reassured his boss, "Don't worry, boss. The delivery will be made soon." Inside the truck, an entire load of unconscious monsters. Right now they were dormant, but soon that peace would shatter. These beasts were being transported straight into the city. The scene shifts again to Mike's home. He finally arrives, covered in bloodstains and wearing torn clothes. His younger brother, Len, looks at him with concern. "Brother, why are you so late?" Len asks. Mike forces a tired smile. "Nothing, just a little accident. I'm exhausted. I need to sleep." But Lane and his dog could smell the blood on Mike's body, his own, mixed with the monsters he had slain. Mike muttered to himself, "My brother has figured it out. He knows my body is covered in blood." Just then, we see Mike traveling deep into his own mind, unlocking the towering gates of the asylum of the gods. It was a massive, mysterious building, unlike anything he had ever seen before. As the enormous doors creaked open, Mike whispered, "Finally, I did it. Let's see what secrets you've been hiding all this time." But as Lane moved forward, strange disturbances rippled through the air, triggering more doors to unlock. Even in the face of the unknown, Mike showed no fear. His chest puffed out, and he strode ahead with unwavering confidence. Inside, it felt eerily familiar, like a hospital. But not just any hospital, a mental asylum. The walls, the doors, the eerie silence. Everything mirrored a real-world psychiatric facility, down to the smallest detail. The entire place gave off a chilling vibe, as if it had housed tormented souls for centuries. Mike reached the first door, but it wasn't like anything from the real world. He smirked. Finally, something different from my world. But when he tried to push it open, it wouldn't budge. He attempted the other doors, but none of them moved an inch. Frustrated, he muttered, "I thought I'd find gods in here, but all I see are locked doors." Then he arrived at the final door, the one belonging to the High Moon God. The moment Mike placed his hand on the lock, his power surged through him. The door swung open effortlessly, as if it had been waiting for him all along. Beyond the door, Mike saw something breathtaking, a vast ocean. But this wasn't water. It was pure spiritual energy, shimmering like liquid stardust. And in the center, seated on a floating platform, was an angel. The moment their eyes met, the entire room shifted. In an instant, the grand mystical ocean was gone. Mike found himself standing in a hospital once again. His heart pounded. What just happened? His reality had changed. But was it real? Or was he merely losing himself in the depths of the asylum of the gods? Mike tries to talk to them, saying, "Hello, can you tell me something?" But the angels don't even look at him. As he takes a step forward, hidden formations suddenly activate around him. These aren't just ordinary formations. They have been waiting for the arrival of their rightful heir. As Mike reads the inscriptions, he realizes something shocking. The goddess before him is one of the 5 creator gods from ancient Greek mythology. She is known as the goddess of the moon and also revered as the mother of gods. However, her power levels and activation state are at absolute zero. Mike, unsure whether this is real or just an illusion, decides to approach her. He asks, "Can you hear me?" At that moment, the goddess suddenly awakens. Mike steps back in fear, uncertain about what is happening. But then she looks at him and says, "At last, you have found me, my child. I have been waiting for you for so long." Mike is stunned. Could this really be his mother? The goddess of the moon steps forward with overwhelming joy. But instead of embracing him, she picks up an ancient pot and cradles it, whispering, "My child, I have waited for you for so long." She begins to cry uncontrollably while holding the object. Mike watches in confusion, expecting her to acknowledge him. Instead, she continues talking to inanimate objects as if they were her children. It becomes clear to Mike. She is mentally unstable. She needs serious treatment because she is not recognizing reality anymore. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a character named Lao Zhao and his companions are discussing something mysterious. They mention the new agent of the god of Michael, wondering who he really is. The person I saw was a child, and if he's a child, he must go to school, right? The next day, Lao Zhao stands in front of a school, waiting for Mike. As he watches students pass by, a little boy approaches him, crying. At that moment, Mike walks into the school, determined to find answers. He searches through books on ancient mythology, hoping to understand what happened to him. Outside, Lao Chao has been waiting for a long time. To pass the time, he sketches Mike's face and asks students if they recognize him. However, they seem more afraid of him than willing to help. Meanwhile, Mike continues his research and uncovers a disturbing truth. His experiences might be connected to a condition known as illusion disorder. Those who suffer from it are trapped between reality and their mental world, often leading to their downfall. But Mike is determined no matter what, he will uncover the truth. A doctor had already advised him that he needed dual treatment, medication and psychological guidance. Mike takes this advice seriously, making sure to follow both methods. Meanwhile, Lao Zhao receives a call from his team, urging him to find the god's agent before it's too late. Despite his tough mission, Lao Zhao is known as a kind-hearted person who helps others. As night falls, we see the goddess of the moon in her temple. She's mentally unstable and relies on medication. Just then, Mike enters, disguised as a doctor. The goddess still holds onto the ancient pot and murmurs, "My child, don't worry. Your older brother will return soon. I know he has taken too long, but he will come back. I regret not taking care of both of you properly when you were young. But when he returns, I will teach him a lesson for making me wait this long." In reality, 3,000 years have passed. Overwhelmed with grief, the goddess cries out, "Why haven't you returned, my son?" Her sorrow is unbearable, and even Mike can't stand watching her in so much pain. Despite everything, he walks up to her and embraces her, saying, "Mother, I'm back now. You don't need to cry anymore. Your wait is over." Hearing this, the goddess of the moon breaks down, sobbing uncontrollably. "You've finally returned, my child. You have no idea how much I suffered in your absence." As her tears fall onto Mike's body, something unexpected happens. His treatment progresses from 3% to a much higher level. His body undergoes a transformation, unlocking divine abilities within him. These powers aren't ordinary. They are on a godlike level. As Mike roamed the city, his powers made him appear almost otherworldly, his body radiating energy. He was told that at night, his speed, strength, endurance, and durability would increase fivefold enough to turn any normal human into a superhuman. The moment he started leaping across buildings, he realized he was now far stronger than any other creature in the city. His speed rivaled that of the Flash, allowing him to travel at incredible velocities. But that wasn't all. He was informed that as his power level increased at night, he would also gain the ability to communicate with nocturnal creatures. Testing his newfound powers, Mike moved through the city, his speed and strength now far beyond human limits. At one point, he landed directly on top of a speeding train, a visually stunning sight. His reflexes were now razor sharp, and nothing seemed to be able to harm him anymore. He was told that soon he would be known as the God of Michael. Unseen by the public, he moved undetected through the city, his incredible speed and strength allowing him to scale even the tallest towers with ease. He could run up walls, leap over vast distances, and reach the highest point in the city in mere seconds. But even that wasn't enough for Mike. He jumped off the tallest tower, the energy radiating from his body glowing brighter as he fell. Sitting atop a high ledge, he stared at a mysterious statue, remembering the legend of the Asylum of the Gods. It was said to have 6 doors, each hiding a different god. His mission was clear. He had to restore them, just as he had healed the goddess of the moon. But there was one problem. He had no idea when he would find the next door. Just as he was about to unlock one, a shadowy bat appeared, watching him intently before vanishing into the night. Mike couldn't understand why, but something felt off. The scene then shifts to a truck driver entering the city, transporting a horde of monsters. Stopping briefly, the driver suddenly noticed Mike, who had been led there by the same bat. As soon as Mike arrived, the creatures inside the truck began to stir, their monstrous energy radiating through the metal walls. Realizing something was wrong, Mike focused his attention on the truck. To his shock, it was packed with deadly creatures that, in an instant, began tearing through the vehicle. He needed a weapon and fast. That's when he found a steel rod, just as the driver turned toward him and asked, "Are you a night demon slayer?" Mike had no idea what that meant, But before he could respond, the truck doors burst open. The monsters leaped out, and at the same time, the driver activated a powerful weapon of his own, aimed straight at Mike. A fierce battle erupted. With just a single strike, Mike eliminated one of the creatures instantly, realizing that the driver's weapon was extremely dangerous. But Mike was faster. His reflexes had become even sharper, allowing him to take down the monsters with incredible speed and precision. The driver, watching in shock, muttered, "How is this kid so flexible? Where did he get these abilities?" The monsters regrouped, ready to kill Mike, but they were no match for his overwhelming speed and power. Using his agility, he dodged their attacks effortlessly, taking them down with a few precise strikes. Whenever they tried to grab him, he simply increased his power level, delivering brutal, devastating blows. And so, the legend of the God of Michael had only just begun. Despite their efforts, the number of monsters wasn't decreasing. At the same time, the driver increased his weapon's power level. Just as a massive container was about to fall on Mike, he managed to dodge it. The close call filled him with rage, and he charged toward the driver, determined to take him down. However, when Mike's metal rod struck the driver's weapon, it shattered into several pieces. Without hesitation, Mike gathered the fragments and hurled them at the approaching monsters. Seeing this, the driver panicked and tried to escape. But Mike wasn't going to let that happen. In the chaos, the driver lost his grip on his weapon. Mike, still puzzled by the driver's cryptic mention of demon slayers, tried to interrogate him, but a single strike knocked the driver unconscious. Realizing the situation was getting out of hand, Mike decided it was best to leave. As he leaped across the rooftops, people below noticed him. Just as he attempted to escape, he slipped, falling straight down only to be caught by Lao Zhao. "Where the hell have you been? I've been looking everywhere for you," Lao Zhao exclaimed. Without wasting time, he took Mike with him, determined to prove to his allies that he wasn't lying about Mike's existence. Lao Zhao brought Mike to a strange, run-down hotel that rented rooms by the hour. Inside, he wasted no time and bombarded Mike with questions. "What do you know about Michael? What's your connection to him? And what kind of abilities did he give you?" But Mike was too distracted by his surroundings. Rooms filled with bizarre artifacts, catering to every kind of human fantasy. Mike smirked. "Wow, you sure ask a lot of questions. So, does this mean gods actually exist in this world?" Lao Zhao nodded. "Yes, kid, but not all gods exist in the same way." Mike raised an eyebrow. "Care to explain?" Lao Zhao took a deep breath. Back in 9020, when that fog spread across the world, this city Daya was the only place untouched. 2 years later, we discovered the first mythical creature, the Dragon of Chaos Leviathan. After that, we learned about other legendary gods, including the one you saw, Michael. With a single sword strike, he split an entire volcano in half. But hidden inside that volcano was something else, a sealed entity known as the Angel Lucifer. Mike's curiosity grew. "So, how many gods have you discovered?" "In the last 100 years, we've identified over 100, Lao Zhao explained. "That's how our entire mythology system was formed. But there's one problem. We still don't know who the god of Daya is. For some reason, this city has never had a deity. And that may be why the fog never reached here." He muttered a list of names: Fujinu, Changyashi, Tanjun, Errol Shen, Sun Wukong. One of them must be connected to Daya, but we still haven't figured out which one. Mike scoffed. "You really expect me to believe all this? Sounds like you got a few screws loose." Meanwhile, back at the battlefield, where Mike had obliterated the monsters and left the driver in a wreck, a new group arrived, the Night Monster Slayers. They quickly assessed the situation and realized that everything had been done by a single high school student. Lao Zhao's phone rang. It was his chief. "What the hell is so urgent that you had to wake me up in the middle of the night?" he asked. The chief's response was grim. "That so-called divine agent, Michael, unleashed hell in the city tonight. He wiped out demons with overwhelming force. But before we got there, someone else had already arrived first." The revelation left Lounge completely shocked. When and how had this happened? Lodja said, "All right, I'll find out soon and let you know." His companion insisted, "You have to do it quickly because you have no idea how much trouble we could be in without Michael knowing." Lounge was deep in conversation with Mike when Mike, suspicious of his words, asked, "What exactly do you want from me?" Laja responded, "After the fog, a select few children were discovered to possess extraordinary, almost awakened powers. In our terminology, we call them forbidden ruse. My team and I have already classified them, and as for you, I believe you've already stepped into the realm of the ancients." Hearing this, Mike's thoughts drifted to the 6 realms, the 6 doors that had appeared before him. Slowly, everything started to connect. Laja then said, "You still haven't told me about your forwarding area. In reality, it's called Shasho the Moon Angel, the very source of your power. That's what made you a divine agent, Sheriff Michael." Mike, still puzzled, asked, "But why me? Why did God choose me as his heir?" Laja looked at him. "Are you seriously saying you don't know? Because as far as I understand, any agent of God receives visions or direct communication before being chosen. It's hard to believe you don't remember anything, or are you hiding something?" Mike sighed. "I swear, I don't know a thing. Why would I lie about something like this? But tell me, have you come across someone else like me, or could it be that you yourself are an agent of God?" Laja chuckled. "Do you really think these powers are a joke? God doesn't just randomly choose agents. Only those who understand Dacia, who care about this world and its people, can become agents. And even among them, only a handful are chosen. As for me, no, I was never given that chance. I'm just a special soldier, highly skilled in combat, far more capable than ordinary people. I can only use weapons from the forbidden areas. One of them, for example, is an unprotected airspace with an immense power field, capable of forming an impenetrable barrier around itself. Everyone except the Dims can pass through it. That's why people call me the Keeper." Mike narrowed his eyes. "So, you were lying to me this whole time?" Laja smirked. "If you don't want to listen, then don't waste my time." Mike shrugged. "Fine, if this conversation is over, I'd like to leave now." Laja scoffed. "So you're really going to walk away and leave me here alone?" Mike replied, "No, you can call someone else to assist you." From that day on, Laja started following him everywhere. College, the streets, anywhere Mike went. One day, Laja asked, "Aren't you even curious about who I am? What organization I belong to? Why I do all this?" Mike responded coldly, "No, I don't care." Laja laughed. "Come on. I've seen enough movies to know what's next. If I listen to you, you'll give me 2 choices, either join your group or die. And if I refuse, you'll threaten to kill me if I tell anyone." At that moment, they were watching a movie one based on real events. Laja, relentless in his pursuit, kept trying to convince Mike. "We're soldiers of an official organization. If you join us, we can draft a formal agreement for you." He continued, "This world has monsters you couldn't even imagine." Mike smirked. "Oh, I'm sure they exist. They just don't show up in daylight." Laja nodded. "Exactly. That's why our organization was created in the first place." He revealed, "Our team is called the Night Monster Slayers. Over the years, the strange and mysterious events in our city have only made these creatures more powerful and cruel than ever before. My organization and I are absolutely certain that in the future, an alien invasion will definitely happen in this city." Meanwhile, the 2 of them were having fun, just passing the time. Slowly, people across the city began to hear about the Night Monster Slayers. Naja steps forward and says, "I am a Night Monster Slayer, and I invite you to join my team. Divine Agent Michael, I would be truly grateful if you listened to me. Please accept my offer and join us. You have the potential to become one of the greatest heroes this world has ever known." Hearing those words, Mike felt deeply motivated. He stood up and said, "Sir, please forgive me for all the times I disrespected you, but I need you to understand something. I live with my aunt. She's been taking care of me for the past 10 years. She sacrificed everything to make my life better. And I also have a younger brother who worries about me all the time. He even has a dog. He's the cutest little thing. They are my whole world, my only family, and I want to spend my life with them. My aunt's health has been getting worse because of how much she works. That's why I can't commit to saving the world. I only want to protect my family, my aunt, my brother. Their happiness is the only thing that matters to me." Because of that, Mike refused Lao Zhao's offer to become a soldier. At the same time, Mike had also started taking care of the goddess of the moon. Slowly, her health was improving, and in return, Mike's powers had grown from level 3 to level 6. Meanwhile, Lao Zhao's team was pressuring him. A powerful villain is coming. We need you to bring the new hero to us at any cost." But Lao Zhao refused. "I won't force him." Then, in the next scene, we are introduced to a mysterious figure. A man who possesses the ability to control monsters. He feeds them terrifying substances, enhancing their powers, making them far more dangerous than before. After this, we see Mike returning home from school only to realize that someone was already there. A stranger and claiming to be his friend. It was Haoning, Lao Zhao. He had introduced himself to Mike's family and was now cooking in the kitchen with his aunt. Furious, Mike drags him to his room. "What the hell are you doing here? And how did you even find my house?" Lao Zhao smirks. "Relax, kid, I just came to give you some important information." He reveals that he had secretly placed a location tracker's hide in Mike's bag. "Listen, you only have 2 choices. 1, take the money and join us. 2, I kill you right here, right now." Then Lao Zhao bursts into laughter. "Relax, I'm just kidding. But seriously, if you're not joining us, then do yourself a favor, stay out of our way. Like it or not, you're an agent of the gods. That means many people, good and bad, are already looking for you. And the most dangerous of them all is the Institute. You have no idea how brutal they are. I know you don't believe me, but you and I, we're more alike than you think. When I was 6, my father died. My mother, she worked 2 jobs just to keep us afloat. She went through so much pain, and I couldn't do anything but watch. But I decided I won't just live for my mother, I will live for the world. I became a soldier to help people like you achieve their dreams. And that's why I became a night monster slayer. There's no turning back for me now. But you, Mike, you're different. So think about this carefully. I know the person who made me this way wasn't good. But I also know that everyone has the right to choose their own path. So, if you want to focus on just saving your little world, your family, then go ahead. Leave the rest of the world to me. I'll handle Captain and the others." As Lao Zhao was about to leave, Mike stopped him and handed back his money, saying, "I never take money for doing the right thing." Lao Zhao smiled and replied, "Yeah, but you should still get paid. If you're truly becoming a soldier, you need to support yourself." Mike shook his head. No, I've already built up too much debt. I don't want to add any more." He refused to take the money. Then, looking at Lao Zhao, he asked, "What were your dreams before you became a soldier? Did you have to give them up?" That simple question made the moment unexpectedly emotional. Lao Zhao sighed. "My dream was to become a general, a hero covered in medals, someone who saves the world, and then returns home to his mother. I imagined my mom telling everyone in the village how proud she was of me." After sharing his dreams, Lao Zhao stepped outside. Just then, Mike came running after him, holding out a small device. "Hey, you forgot this." Lao Zhao chuckled. "Oh man, I totally forgot. Thanks for bringing it back. This thing is really important to me." Mike smiled. "Lao Zhao, whether the world calls you a hero or not, you'll always be a hero to my family." Lao Zhao laughed. "All right, kid, stop before you make me cry. I know your future is bright, and I hope you get everything you dream of." This was their farewell. Lao Zhao said, "But I still have one last mission to complete. So go now. Let me finish what I started." As he walked away, he unknowingly left behind a small device. Meanwhile, inside the house, Mike's aunt called him for dinner. But outside, the city was on the brink of disaster. The scene shifted to Lao Zhao's forgotten device. It was actively capturing monsters within a restricted area. The creatures had already wreaked havoc, killing innocent people. Lao Zhao managed to put up a barrier to contain them, but that wasn't enough. He had to eliminate them. One monster caught his attention. "Isn't that the one our captain injured before?" Just then, the He-Ghostface King Yi emerged. He was brutally wounded but had become even stronger due to a drug-enhanced rage. The captain's voice crackled over the radio. That thing shouldn't even be standing. How is it still alive after taking that much damage? Lao Zhao clenched his fists. "No matter what, I have to fight him. If I don't, this entire city will be destroyed." The Ghostface King launched a brutal attack, forcing Lao Zhao to summon an energy shield. But the monstrous foe unleashed a relentless assault. The captain yelled, "Look, these fights happen all the time. Please don't risk your life. You're not a warrior. You were only supposed to set up the barrier. Get out of there now. I'll send backup." But the Ghostface King was about to move shatter on the barrier. Lao Chao made up his mind. "I can't just run and let thousands die. I have to finish this fight." Back in the city, unaware of the looming threat, people went about their lives. Inside his house, Mike was eating dinner when a strange feeling crept over him. Somewhere in the battlefield, Lao Zhao had already engaged the Ghostface King in a deadly clash. The creature was not just powerful, it was terrifying. Despite his skill, Lao Zhao was soon injured, but he didn't back down. The Ghostface King, Lao Zhao smirked through the pain. "I knew you were strong, but there's one problem. You're not as fast as me." With a flash of his sword, he slashed through the monster's entire body. But the Ghostface King had one final trick. With a dark reality-shifting power, he warped dimensions, creating illusions to disorient Lao Zhao. His clones began attacking from all sides. Lao Zhao fought back, but the relentless onslaught left him exhausted. And then the real battle began. Lao Zhao muttered, "I never expected him to be this smart." The enemy's technique was so effective that even Lao Zhao's speed was useless against it. Face King's speed had also increased dramatically. He was using his illusion so flawlessly that he kept wounding Lao Zhao repeatedly. Lao Zhao smirked and said, "Well, at least I forced you to use your hidden powers." But no matter how many times he struck with his sword, the beast's sheer physical strength kept protecting it. Just as the beast was about to land a fatal blow on Lao Zhao, he grinned and said, "If you want, we can play this game all day." That's when the real battle began, fiercer and deadlier than before. The injuries were brutal, and Lao Zhao had to dodge every single one of the enemy's techniques while looking for an opening. But then he realized something shocking. The beast wasn't just using its normal powers. Its abilities had evolved, becoming exponentially stronger. Telekinesis alone was no ordinary power, and yet Face King was wielding it effortlessly. Even so, Lao Zhao managed to block each attack. Then, in a devastating moment, Ghostface King landed a powerful punch that shattered all of Lao Zhao's ribs. He was sent flying, crashing into the ground below. Blood poured from his wounds, but he refused to surrender. Gritting his teeth, he muttered, "Imagine if I had the power of the Forbidden Rune. You'd be dead 100 times over by now." But as he struggled to stand, Ghostface King unleashed an even more brutal assault, beating him mercilessly. Meanwhile, in another part of town, we see Mike at home. Just then, his informant, a bat, delivered urgent news. The moment Mike heard it, he bolted out the door. His brother tried to stop him, asking, "Where are you going in this storm?" But his brother quickly realized Mike wasn't just a normal person anymore. All he could think about was Lao Zhao, who was on the verge of death. Ghostface King had completely shattered Lao Zhao's bones and now lifted him into the air, his breathing shallow, his life hanging by a thread. But the worst was yet to come. Ghostface King grabbed both of Lao Zhao's legs, preparing to tear him apart. That's when Lao Zhao's mind flashed to a small device, the symbol of a night monster slayer. But it wasn't just a symbol, it was a weapon. With his last ounce of strength, he grabbed his sword and slashed at the beast's legs. Enraged, the beast slammed him into the ground and lifted a massive rock to crush him. Lao Chao smirked and muttered, "Finally, it's time." The moment the rock struck, the symbol activated, flooding his body with an incredible energy surge. Ghostface King suddenly found himself unable to stand against him. Lao Zhao's injuries healed in mere seconds, and his body transformed, elevated to superhuman levels. The power of the Forbidden Rune coursed through him. Lao Zhao grinned. "All right, let's finish this the right way." At that moment, Mike arrived, breaking through a magical shield with a single strike. Ghostface King roared in pain as Lao Zhao severed one of his hands. Lao Zhao laughed, reveling in his newfound power. "I knew it. I'm a genius. I was meant to be an agent of God." But just then a voice interrupted. "Didn't you tell me you didn't have the Forbidden Rune's power?" It was Mike. Lao Zhao turned to him. "Kid, what are you doing here?" Mike shrugged. "Nothing, just passing time." But the battle wasn't over. The beast regenerated its lost hand and prepared to strike again. Lao Zhao smirked and turned to Mike. "Kid, watch closely. You need to pay special attention to this cut." Mike frowned. "Why?" Lao Zhao grinned, because this knife is about to become something truly beautiful. Then, he channeled the power of the moon into his sword. Darkness engulfed the battlefield, but the blade began to glow with an eerie silver light. Just as Ghostface King lunged forward, Lao Zhao struck, first unleashing an attack so powerful it caused a massive explosion of energy. And then silence. Ghostface King's head fell from his shoulders. Finally, it was over. Lao Zhao stood victorious, stylishly pulling out a cigarette. With a smirk, he exhaled a puff of smoke and said, "Look at how flawlessly I executed the plan," said Mike. As he pulled out a lighter, suddenly he collapsed. Mike rushed to him, panic setting in as he tried to understand what had just happened. The energy had drained from his body. This was the backlash from using forward Enrus's power. And now, he wouldn't survive. "Lao Zhao, tell me what's happening to you." "Whatever it is, I'll get you to a hospital," Mike pleaded. But Lao Zhao shook his head. It won't change anything. I use the power of ghosts and gods, and it can only be used once in a lifetime. The price is my life. But honestly, I don't regret it. I always watched Captain Jung and the others wield their powers, and I yearned to experience that kind of strength. Now I finally have. But this power, it's as dangerous as it is incredible. If I had more time, I would have won that medal, he continued, his voice weakening. I would have gone home and shown it to my mother. She would have been so proud. Mike was on the verge of tears. "Lao Zhao, you're not leaving me, right? There's still so much I need to learn from you." Lao Zhao managed a weak smile. "Your teacher has already taught you life's greatest lesson." Mike clenched his fists. "Yes, and I'll never forget it." With a trembling hand, Lao Zhao put a cigarette in his mouth, and Mike tried to light it for him. But the rain had soaked the lighter, rendering it useless. The cigarette slipped from Lao Zhao's lips, and in that moment, he took his final breath. Watching him die broke something in Mike. Tears welled in his eyes, anger, regret, sorrow, all crashing over him. This man had fought alone against thousands, with no family to mourn him. And yet, no one in this city would ever know of his sacrifice. The crowds, oblivious, would go on with their lives, never realizing that an ordinary man had given everything to save them. "Why, Lao Zhao?" Mike whispered. "Why did you do this? Why did you leave me?" But before he could grieve, a horrifying sight unfolded before him. Ghostface King's body was regenerating. His severed head and arm reformed as he stood once again, ready to strike. Mike's body surged with power, an energy shield forming around him. He reached for Lao Zhao's sword, his only weapon now. Ghostface King attacked, but the shield held strong. Then, as the enemy lunged, Mike raised the sword, channeling his full potential. The moment Ghostface King struck, Mike countered, his blade cutting through the monster. A blinding beam of energy shot into the sky, and Ghostface King's body split in two. Mike stood there, victorious. But it meant nothing because he had lost his closest friend. This wasn't over. The story had only just begun. At that very moment, Young was racing toward them, desperate to reach Lao Zhao. But as she drew closer, Captain's voice echoed in her ear, warning her, "Young, be prepared for whatever happens." Lao Zhao's energy hasn't moved in minutes, and that can only mean one thing. "Shut up," she snapped. "He's fine, I know he is." But then, Lao Zhao's energy signature flickered. Young's heart leaped. "See, I told you he'd be okay." Yet, when she finally arrived, reality shattered her hopes. There in front of her was Mike, carrying Lao Zhao's lifeless body. The sight was devastating. She couldn't accept it. Lao Zhao was gone. Mike, his voice heavy with determination, finally spoke. "From this moment on, I will take General Lao Zhao's place. I'll finish what he started." The rest of the team was arriving, the weight of Lao Zhao's death sinking in. He had burned through every ounce of his strength in his battle against Ghostface King, and it had cost him everything. Now Mike had made his choice, and this was just the beginning. When Ghostface King completes Mike's transformation into a night monster slayer, the news is officially documented and sent to his home. 2 military officers arrive at his aunt's house to deliver the news. Seeing them at her doorstep, Mike's aunt is shocked. Why would army personnel be visiting her? Mike's younger brother and even their dog take notice, but none of them know what has happened or why. Mike's aunt and brother receive only a letter, signed by Mike himself. The letter confirms that he has left to become a soldier. His family assumes he has joined the military because of the way the letter is worded. But his aunt becomes deeply worried. Mike left in the middle of the night without telling anyone, and now all they have is this letter. Mike's life is about to change forever. He has made up his mind he will become a night monster slayer, but the training is far from easy. He is given stacks of paperwork and contracts, outlining that he must leave his family behind. Though his salary will be sent to his family every month, the separation is painful. His aunt, devastated, finally gets hold of his number and immediately calls him. She says, "Mike, I've been longing to hear your voice. Why didn't you tell me about this before? You wanted to become a soldier, and now you're already in training. How could you keep this from me? Did you think I would stop you from following your dreams, or do you not see me as your aunt anymore?" Hearing this, Mike quickly apologizes. "Please forgive me. That wasn't my intention at all." He tells her that he's on a train, traveling to his training center, which will take at least 2 days. "I don't know why this train is moving so slowly," he adds with frustration. His aunt, still worried, tells him, "When you reach the military camp, listen to me. Eat properly. Don't let yourself get weak, and don't overexert yourself." Mike reassures her, "Aunt, don't worry about me." She sighs and says, "How can I not worry about you? When you come back, I'll make sure you get married, so your wife and I can take care of you together." Mike laughs. "We'll see about that later, Aunt." Then he adds, "I'll be back soon, and my salary will be sent to you every year. Please don't save it for me or my future wife. Use it to live your best life and take care of my brother." Mike's younger brother, overhearing the conversation, stands silently, feeling abandoned. His aunt asks, "Do you want to talk to your brother?" Mike hesitates, then says, "No, it's okay. I'll talk to him later. The signal is bad here anyway." His aunt nods. "All right, I'll hang up now. But promise me until you return, you'll stay safe and keep me updated on everything." "I promise, Aunt," Mike replies. They both disconnect the call, but his aunt and brother are left heartbroken. The house feels emptier without him. His younger brother whispers, "Why did you leave me behind, brother?" Meanwhile, Captain arrives and orders a protective formation around Mike's house, ensuring that no monster or demon can enter. He tells Mike, "From now on, it's our duty to protect your family. But if you ever return to them, you'll put their lives in danger." Mike nods solemnly. "Yes, sir, I understand." After discussing everything, the officers leave, and we see Mike standing at a crossroads. Captain approaches him. "Mike, it's time to go." Without saying goodbye to his family, Mike embarks on his new life. As they leave, he asks Captain, "Where are we going?" Captain replies, "Don't worry, just keep moving, you'll find out soon." The scene shifts to a gun range, where trainees are practicing their shooting skills. We see the sniper showing off his shooting skills to Mike and challenging him to do the same. Mike is completely ready for it. Using his abilities to lock onto the target, he quickly pulls out his gun and starts shooting. However, despite using his enhanced vision, he still misses every shot. Yet, with confidence, he asks, "So, how did I do?" The sniper smirks and replies, "I've never seen aim as unique as yours." This marks the beginning of Mike's intense training under Young, who pushes him to the limits of flexibility, endurance, and strength. He is now given the codename God, 003, the divine agent of God, Seraph Michael. His team constantly reminds him, "You are the most special among us. Many eyes are on you, not just ours, but others who seek to control you." There are powerful forces watching his every move, making his decisions more crucial than ever. To prepare him for the battles ahead, Young begins training Mike in mental combat through the Testing Realm program, where the team gathers data on all night monster slayers. Each of these warriors wields a unique weapon, and among them, 5 individuals stand out as almost godlike beings. Known as the Gods of Daya, they include Swordright, 1 statue. Set Mr. Nothing, Yefu, Ufu, the commander of the night monster slayers. These warriors operate in deep secrecy. No one knows their whereabouts, making it nearly impossible to track them. Meanwhile, Mike's training continues, but he still struggles to land accurate shots. Frustrated, he suggests moving the target closer. To improve his reaction speed, he undergoes intense exercises designed to help him escape even the most impossible situations. His instructors explain that this kind of training pushes the body to its absolute limits, activating hidden abilities. Mike soon becomes incredibly fast. His vision, reflexes, and mental fortitude all sharpen. However, something strange happens. Unlike others, he doesn't seem to develop any special abilities. No one understands why. While he can block incoming attacks, unexpected ones still get past his defenses. As he continues his training, Mike learns more about God Seraph Michael, whose divine power has influenced his fate. But the records on Michael are limited, only one word remains: miracle. This hints at an extraordinary event waiting to unfold. Determined to push himself further, Mike asks if they can increase his speed even more. As a result, he surpasses everyone on the team, quickly reaching senior-level status. His physical and mental strength grow at an astonishing rate, leaving even Young in disbelief. "I don't understand. How did you advance so incredibly fast?" Then, Mike is handed an extremely powerful sniper rifle, one capable of hitting a target 500 meters away with pinpoint accuracy. Using its scope, he lands a perfect shot from that distance. However, shockingly, when he tries to hit a target just 10 meters away, he misses. Even with the scope, Mike pauses and says, "Maybe this is the miracle." From that moment on, his training becomes even more brutal, transforming him into something beyond a mere soldier. He not only masters his abilities, but begins to truly awaken them. Then he receives a chilling warning. No matter what happens, you must stay away from the ancient God Church. Curious, Mike asks, "Who are they, and what do they want from us?" The response sends a shiver down his spine. "They don't just want to control us, they want to consume us." They say that Brahmadev, one of India's gods, once destroyed the earth. In the aftermath, other mythological gods emerged. Among them, 3 evil gods discovered the ancient god of the church. These 3 malevolent deities are now trying to wipe us out. It was they who spread the fog to bring about the end of the world. In response, the gods began granting powers to their chosen agents. But the ancient Church of God is hunting people like us, aiming to eliminate us. Mike interjects, "Are you saying that there are still living people trapped inside the mist? Have you ever seen someone in there?" He is reassured, "Don't worry, you'll understand everything soon. The most important thing to remember is this: if the ancient God of the church ever finds you, our greatest responsibility will be to protect you or, if necessary, take your life ourselves." The scene shifts to Mike sitting with his team, enjoying a delicious meal. As Young reaches for a bite, Mr. Mo suddenly starts eating from the same dish. "Mr. Mo, what the heck? I saw that first. That means I get to eat it," Young protests. A playful argument breaks out between them, prompting Mr. Sniper to place his gun on the table, as if signaling that he wants no part in their squabble. He then picks up a small piece of meat, hands it to Mike, and says, "Eat less of this, or your eyesight will suffer. And trust me, we need your eyes working perfectly." Just then, the captain walks in and sighs, "Do you guys always fight like kids over food?" Mike changes the subject, asking, "By the way, where exactly am I staying?" Young reassures him, "Don't worry. You can stay wherever you want. But I need to get to my shooting practice soon." She turns to Nan and says, "Take him with you and show him to his room." Shannon interjects, "Not now. I have something important to take care of first." Before they can continue, a man approaches Mike. "Forget everything else and listen to me. Whatever you need, just ask me," he says. Later that night, Mike and another team member head out. "Are we going to Young's house?" Mike asks. "Look, every night monster slayer has their secrets," he replies. "We don't even know their real identities or where they live." As they continue, they spot Young kneeling near a grave, lighting a candle and crying. "What is she doing?" Mike wonders aloud. "She's performing a ritual in memory of a fallen teammate," the other man explains. "She'll probably finish it by tomorrow." "Young usually tells me everything," Mike says. "But I guess everyone has secrets they keep to themselves." Young sobs harder, and Mike clenches his fists. "I can't just stand here and do nothing." "No," his companion warns. "Now is not the time. If you approach her, her secret won't stay a secret anymore. She won't be able to share it or hide it from you. We should never interfere with someone's personal grief." Mike looks around. Are we the only ones watching her? Of course not, the man replies. Her entire team is watching. They all feel the same pain over Lao Zhao's death. Every member of the squad carries secrets. They know about each other's burdens, but choose not to speak of them. Mr. Sniper and the others all have their own pasts, yet they never pry. Mike, now aware of these unspoken truths, silently heads to his room to rest. The next scene takes us to the realm of the gods. Mike finds himself in the presence of the moon goddess, who is treating his injuries. She hands him some medicine but notices something on his face. Is there something you want to say? You look like you have something on your mind. Speak to me. I'll help however I can. Mike hesitates. No, it's nothing. Instead of taking the pills, the moon goddess lets them fall to the floor. Mike, she says gently, you are like a son to me. Remember this. In a family, sharing our burdens makes us stronger. It gives us the courage to endure and the strength to move forward. Mike looks down. So many people have died for no reason, he says, but those who love them will always remember them. And now everything I do, I must do it for them. It is because of them that I've reached where I am today, and because of them that I've been given this opportunity. I will not waste it, but use it the right way. The goddess says, you're such a good and kind-hearted person. Always remember, never compare yourself to others, because each person has their own identity. The ones who live for you always think that you will live a better life, and obviously, that's what you should do. I'm sorry, son. I may not be able to do much for you, but I can give you this power to fight against the evil forces, to face them. That's why today I'm giving you my strength, my bracelet. The goddess looks down and notices that her bracelet is gone. This shocks her, and she recalls, that girl, she took my bracelet. Mike has no idea who this girl could be. The moon goddess reveals, someone just like you came here 5 years ago, wearing the same white dress, and she might be on the 3rd floor of this place. Mike decides to find out who this person is. As he heads to the 3rd floor, he wonders, could someone have been here 5 years ago? The moon goddess explains that the girl had competed with her. If the moon goddess won, the girl would return her son to her, but if she lost, she would have to give up her bracelet. This is why the goddess had to give it up. Mike arrives on the 3rd floor, but when he opens the door, he finds nothing. He then asks, are you the one who helped create this world? You are the goddess of night, one of the 5 main deities. Just then, Mike finds a letter on the table, and when he opens it, the room starts to change. It's as if the whole setup is shifting, and the letter seems to have been left just for him. The letter reads, whoever reads this, this is for you. From now on, you are the master of this whole asylum. The most important thing is, do not tell anyone that you are the master, because if you do, you will face so many challenges that you won't be able to handle them. All the gods hiding in here are hidden from others. I will give you more information gradually when we meet. But one important thing, there is a hidden place in this office that no one knows about. You will have to wait until I grow stronger, for you are the only hope I have to send me home. Mike opens the door to the lower floor and discovers an eerie place that feels like a prison, surrounded by dangerous and menacing sounds. He ventures further and comes across a monster, eerily resembling the Ghost-Faced King. The monster's trying desperately to break the bars, but they're made from a divine material, so it's impossible to break them. The monster retreats, then charges at Mike with full force. However, this turns out to be a huge mistake, as the bars are enchanted with powers that send a shock through the monster, weakening it. Mike begins to gather information about the monster's origins, its power level, and its limitations. The monster reaches out to touch Mike, but with just the power of a finger, Mike weakens it so much that even its hand falls off without physical contact. Now, with fear on its face, the monster asks, what are you doing here near my city, by my home? I know you didn't just stumble upon this place. Mike then starts to peer into the monster's mind with the help of his powers. He learns that this monster and many others were drugged by someone from the Church of the Ancient God. Realizing this, Mike defeats the Ghost-Faced King, who is terrified like an innocent being. As Mike touches him, he says, yes, I know you didn't do this by your own will. You were forced. Don't worry, in time, I will learn all the rules of this asylum, and you will too. You'll understand how things work here. And how can I even fix you? But the biggest issue is that, without realizing it, you killed someone who was extremely important to me. That's why Mike was furious and unleashed his fire, declaring, "This is my asylum, and I don't want you here." With just one powerful strike, he took down the Ghost King. Now we see Mike undergoing intense training. His training is about to begin under the guidance of the captain, who starts by teaching him the basic rules of monster slayers. Most monster slayers rely on their swords and unique sword techniques. One of them attacks with his 7-strike technique, but someone points out, "I don't think you actually used the power of God, Michael." Mike responds, "Every knight has his own secret." The captain nods and says, "Then keep your secret a secret." With that, their training begins. The captain explains that inside the lodge, forward and rune powers don't work. However, the sword skills they possess are the best among all monster slayers. Mike does his best to keep up, trying to fight the captain's warden sword. The captain challenges him, saying, "I want to see you fight as an agent of God, using your own skills, not copying someone else." Mike pushes himself harder, attacking relentlessly, but he's still not on the captain's level. Mike acknowledges, "I understand everything you're teaching me, and I'll master my own unique sword techniques." But in an instant, the captain disarms him with a single attack, knocking his sword away. Mike had been relying on Lao Zhao's sword technique, which the captain counters effortlessly. That's when Mike activates his forbidden rune power and declares, "I can't just forget Lao Zhao or his skills so easily." With a single strike, he shatters the captain's sword. Seeing this, the captain smirks, slightly impressed. He steps back, regains his stance, and challenges Mike to another round. As their fight resumes, the captain notices, "Your speed is slowing down. Fight with strength. Fight with courage. No one will show you mercy." Mike endures countless blows from the captain. The captain pushes him harder, insisting that real training doesn't come with rest. As a result, Mike suffers brutal beatings during training. Meanwhile, in the city, we see Yang helping an old woman. Yang and his teammates often assist people in need, and today, they've reunited the woman with her long-lost partner, creating a heartwarming moment. Other team members, like Mr. Sniper and Xiao, continue their missions while keeping an eye on the city. After training, Mike takes a moment to rest, holding on to Lao Zhao's emblem. He reflects, "Lao Zhao, you saved my entire world. In return, I'll protect the people you held dear. I'll do this forever because I am Michael, the God Angel." A new chapter begins. Strange reports emerge from Daya City about a demonic parasite spreading, turning people into snake demons. These creatures are highly dangerous, capable of killing in an instant. However, at first, their goal is to multiply and infect as many people as possible. This entire episode revolves around this growing threat. We then cut to a Night Monster Slayer team meeting, where they discuss the situation. A new member, Li Yef, has joined the team. The captain explains, "This new threat is called the Nanda Snake Demon. It's the lord of all the parasitic creatures spreading across the city. While its power level isn't as high as other demons yet, we can't ignore the risk. Nanda Snake Demon is using humans to grow stronger. It first infects a person without them realizing it, then gradually takes over their mind. In the past, snake demons attacked humans, and at that time, there was no cure. Many lives were lost. But now Dr. Saibalu has made a breakthrough. If they detect an infected person early, they can extract and eliminate the parasite before it takes full control. Now they turn their attention to a major hotspot, the schools where the parasite has spread the most. The team emphasizes that their top priority is student safety. Their ultimate goal is to eliminate all snake demons, with the final target being Nanda, the most powerful of them all. However, Captain Furtabi explains that even Calamity Crow 1, of their strongest allies, doesn't have the vision required to track down these demons. Mike asks, "What exactly are Calamity Crows?" Young explains, "They are a special breed of crows, gifted with Forward and Russ's powers. These abilities allow them to detect any disturbance within the city. If a major disaster is approaching, they sense it beforehand and can even pinpoint its location." Captain Zhang interrupts, "All right, enough talking. We need to act fast. We can't let the entire school turn into snake demons. If that happens, just imagine how terrifying it'll be." Meanwhile, Mike and his team don school uniforms as they prepare to infiltrate the campus. As they enter, Faye asks, "Did you really join this mysterious organization?" "I'm actually glad you did. We all thought you'd become a soldier someday." Mike replies, "Faye, I'm sorry, but you're about to witness things that will shake you to your core." Faye hesitates. "What do you mean? What's going to happen?" At that moment, a memory flashes in Faye's mind. He recalls how Mr. Mo used a magical bell to erase all traces of what he saw, the ghost face, the demons, everything. Faye mutters, "I thought the police saved me that day, but I never considered that a mysterious man was behind it all, and I certainly didn't expect to be working alongside them now." As he notices their weapon bags, Faye remarks, "These bags, they look incredible. I bet they hold some amazing things." Then he turns to Mike and asks, "Will you tell me the name of your organization? I want to join." However, it turns out Faye hasn't actually joined yet. The group reaches the school walls, where Faye and Zia exchange a glance. "We always wanted to study at a real school," Faye says. "Well, at least we have the chance now." Both of them leap over the wall with ease. Mike follows, clearing the high wall effortlessly. Faye tries to do the same, but struggles. He has no powers. After much effort, he barely manages to climb. Inside the school, students are arriving for their classes. Outside, Mr. Mo and Mr. Sniper work to seal off the entire area, setting up a barrier to prevent any demons from escaping. The two captains strategize with their teams, assigning roles. Meanwhile, Mike, Young, and Xiao are busy planning when, suddenly, Faye stumbles into them. Mike turns to Faye. "We're headed to Shuji Dormitory. Do you know the price to enter?" Faye hesitates. "I can't go there. My crush is in that class." Mike smirks. "Wait, you actually like her?" Faye panics. "How do you know that?" Mike laughs. "How could I not know? Every time you see her, you completely zone out." Mike's partners, Hangen and Shiana, exchange amused looks. "We need to check something in that class," Mike says. "So tell them the location, we have somewhere else to be." Meanwhile, Mr. Sniper keeps a close watch over the entire school, but for now, everything seems calm. Elsewhere, the two captains are searching for a specific individual. They've learned that more people have been infected. In the next scene, we see Faye's crush sitting in class, unaware that Mike is using his supervision ability to scan the students. Mike's eyes widen. There are a lot of infected students here. He immediately alerts his team. "I still have my ability. I can see who's been infected by the snake demon parasite." Mr. Mo nods. "Good. If that's the case, we can round up all the infected students at once." But there's a problem. Lu Xiaoyan, the very first person infected, is absent from class today. The captains, realizing the urgency, arrive at her home. Captain Zhang instructs his team, "Find every infected person as soon as possible. It's your responsibility to cure them." As the scene shifts, we see the school where the bell rings and students rush outside. Mike walks through the crowd, scanning his surroundings with his enhanced vision. Almost immediately, he realizes that several students have already been infected. The next scene takes us to room 405, where Hang Gang and Xiaonan arrive, expecting to find Xiaoyan. When they open the door, they find the room eerily silent, as if no one has been there for a while. Inside the dormitory, they notice a collection of outfits, which makes Hang Gang uneasy. "Something about this place feels really off," he says. At that moment, Xiaonan spots something terrifying, several body masks that look as if they were made from human skin. Meanwhile, we see two captains arriving at Xiaoyan's house. Captain Jiang asks her mother, "Are you Xiaoyan's family?" She confirms. But before she can react, Jiang fires a specialized bullet at her head, a bullet designed to expel demons from human bodies. Instantly, the parasite known as the snake demon is forced out. Without hesitation, the captain slashes it down with his sword, eliminating the threat. Xiaoyan's father, watching in horror, is unable to comprehend what just happened. As he panics, Jiang turns to him and fires the same bullet to ensure no demon is inside him either. At the same time, Mike delivers alarming news. He has arrived at the school's courtyard, where chaos is beginning to unfold. Students and staff murmur among themselves. "Isn't that Mike? Wasn't he a soldier? What's he doing here?" they wonder. But Mike is focused, using his enhanced vision to scan for demonic presences. What he discovers is shocking. Most of the students have already been infected by the snake demon parasite. Elsewhere, Shauna finds herself cornered by three girls. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" one of them asks. Another sneers, "You may look cute, but cute people can be the biggest thieves." Back in the courtyard, Mike walks forward, ignoring a teacher who warns him, "The boy holding the flag. You're going the wrong way. Turn back." But Mike doesn't stop. "The number of infected here is overwhelming," he mutters. "If we don't stop them now, they'll turn the entire Diacity into a graveyard." Captain Jiang appears, addressing Mike directly. "You know the situation better than anyone now. We need to locate Lu Xiaoyan and confirm if she's the primary snake demon." Mike immediately takes off toward the suspected location, but the students are already too far gone. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Captain Zhang alerts his team. "Listen up. This mission is beyond what we imagined. If any of you can take down the snake demon's true form, everyone under its control will be freed." Just then, Sniper activates a protective shield, and Mike recognizes it as the legendary Lao Chao technique. Meanwhile, the three girls surrounding Shauna reveal their true forms. They, too, have become snake demons. As Mike rushes through the school, he suddenly stops. Principal Mo stands in his path. But something is wrong. The principal has also been infected. We cut to Captain Jiang's team, who have already locked onto their targets. "Friends," Jiang says, "the time has come to exterminate these demons." His team nods in agreement. Jiang continues, "I've alerted the Super Cop Task Force. I hope they send in a specialized team soon because handling a threat of this magnitude is beyond just a handful of us." Finally, he turns to his squad with a grim realization. What if this is just another move in the grand scheme of the Ant God Church? Captain, yes, it's possible. In fact, it's very likely. Right now, Mike's identity is extremely special something no one else knows about yet. Captain Jiang, and we send him on a mission like this? Do you realize how dangerous this could be? Captain, Jiang, don't worry. The kid you're talking about is nothing like us. You have no idea. He has unlimited potential. His future is destined to be extraordinary. At that moment, Mike's principal transforms into a snake demon and lunges at him. Reacting quickly, Mike tells Yifei to hide behind him. He draws his special gun and fires at the principal, but the creature dodges every shot, closing in fast. Just as it reaches him, Mike strikes with his blade, forcing the snake demon out of the principal's body. In the next scene, chaos erupts in the classroom. A student awakens his demon powers, unleashing destruction all around. Panic spreads as students flee for their lives, not just in one classroom, but throughout the entire school. Fear grips everyone as snake beasts attack relentlessly. Amidst the mayhem, we see Mr. Mo stepping forward. "Only Mike has the ability to track them all down," he says, smirking, "but this is actually great. They're coming straight to us." As a swarm of snake beasts rushes toward him, Mr. Mo pulls out his enchanted special gun. With precise shots, he forces the demons out of hiding, then swiftly slashes them down with his sword. A spectacular battle unfolds. No matter how powerful the snake beasts are, they are no match for Mr. Mo. But as more and more monsters appear, he wonders, were they waiting for us all along? Meanwhile, Yang and Xiaonan face off against the demons. Initially, they toy with their enemies, but once they get serious, the fight intensifies. Yang draws her weapon and shouts, "Xiaonan, start forcing them out!" Xiaonan quickly pulls out his guns and begins expertly exposing the hidden snake demons among the students. With each precise shot, the demons are forced into the open, where Yang finishes them off with her powerful attacks. But soon they realize they've walked into a trap. Snake beasts approach from both ends of the hallway, surrounding them. Yang mutters, "Well, this might be a problem." Xiaonan grins. "Are we really going to let these kids scare us?" Without hesitation, she opens fire, and Yang unleashes a devastating flame attack. With just her spear, she cuts through waves of beasts, while Xiaonan's twin pistols leave a trail of fallen enemies. But outside, the battle isn't over. The entire school is in chaos. Elsewhere, Mike is taking down beast after beast, but his aim is slipping. That's when Mr. Sniper steps in to assist him. "Mike," he says, "the girl you're looking for, Shoyan, has already made it to the top floor." "Got it," Mike replies. He turns to Yifei. "You need to get out of here." But Yifei insists, "I'm staying with you. I know this entire school inside and out. Guided by Mr. Sniper's directions, Mike reaches the 4th floor. The largest room on the left has strange movement inside. It's where a group of students have barricaded themselves, stacking everything they can against the door to keep the demons out. But they don't realize inside, someone is about to transform into a monkey demon. Yifei arrives at the door and shouts, "We're here to help!" But the students inside don't trust him. No matter what, they refuse to open the door. Yifei isn't strong enough to break it down, so Mike grabs a heavy axe and starts smashing through. The students panic and brace the door even harder, but just then, as the scene unfolds, Mike pushes the door open and sees that someone has completely taken down the snake demon. To finish it off, he drives his sword straight into its neck. With that, the group regroups and moves forward together. The newcomer turns to Mike and says, the way I hit it, its entire nervous system shut down. Even if you hadn't used your sword, it would have died anyway. I knew exactly where to strike." Mike listens intently, and another character chimes in, revealing that this newcomer is actually the top student in the city, currently pursuing a master's degree in biology. The newcomer nods and corrects him. "Actually, I've already completed my PhD in biology. I also run my own clinic, and I know who you are, Mike." Mike, surprised, asks, "Wait, how do you know me?" The man explains, "I saw you earlier in the playground. Your eyes were glowing at one point." Before they can discuss further, a group of students infected by the snake demon appears. Mike tries to shoot them, but his aim is off. He's still not an expert marksman. The doctor steps in and teaches him how to steady his shoulder for better accuracy. As another snake demon emerges, Mike wastes no time, drawing his sword and attacking. The doctor also joins in, firing his gun, helping Mike slash through enemies left and right. Watching Mike's skill in battle stuns everyone. But even Mike is amazed by the doctor's precise and deadly aim. Curious, the doctor examines Mike's gun, trying to determine what materials and technology allow it to extract the demon from human bodies. But there's no time for a deep dive. He quickly says, "First, we need to take these creatures down. We'll talk later." Immediately, both of them jump back into action, the doctor firing his weapon and Mike wielding his sword. As they fight, the doctor remarks, "These mythical creatures are all formed from the body of the snake demon. If the real Nanda demon actually exists, then the world is far more dangerous than we thought." Mike nods and explains, "There are special people in our city who secretly deal with these supernatural threats, ensuring that ordinary people never even realize they exist." The doctor takes a moment before responding, "Yeah, it's all starting to make sense now." As they continue fighting, Mike asks, "Doctor, don't you feel any fear at all?" The doctor smirks. "Fear? What's there to be afraid of? If anything, I'm enjoying this." Suddenly, a snake demon lunges at the doctor from behind. But before it can strike, Mike swiftly decapitates it, reducing its head to a pile of gory pieces. The doctor sighs. "Damn! I wanted to examine its brain up close. I was curious about how beautiful its brain cells might look." Mike raises an eyebrow. "What the hell are you even talking about?" More snake demons appear, attacking in waves. The doctor manages to extract a demon from 3 people with a single shot, while Mike slashes through them effortlessly with one powerful swing of his sword. Their captain then turns to Mike and says, "Your path is clear. You need to move forward now." Meanwhile, Mr. Mo, an expert in memory manipulation, is erasing the memories of all the affected students. When they wake up, they'll only remember coming to school and going home, nothing in between. Just then, their ally, Young, announces, "All right, guys, we've cleared this area." At that moment, another ally, Wafai, arrives, saving a few civilians before heading toward Mike. The two of them press on, encountering an enemy whose body is still partially possessed. The doctor extracts the demon, while Mike delivers the final slash. Meanwhile, Mr. Sniper locks his sights on Liv Xian, who has made her way to the top floor with a few survivors, eventually reaching the music room. Mike and the doctor rush forward, taking out any remaining demons in their path. As they fight their way through, Mike mutters, "Yifei was the one who revealed all of this." Both of them were clearing the path while chatting. The doctor said, "Yeah, everything else is fine, but we should never underestimate the Nanda snake demon. He's not the kind of entity that appears so easily, and we think he's inside Xiaoyan's body. But what if that's not true? Just think about it. Why would the Nanda snake demon willingly reveal himself? That would put his life in danger." Mike responded, "So, are you saying that everything I was told was just an illusion? The doctor shrugged. I don't know what's real or not, but one thing's for sure. We have no idea what the Nanda snake demon is planning. Mike smirked. Well, we're about to find out in just a few moments. They had reached the music room. The door was locked, so Mike activated his supervision ability. Inside, he saw 5 students. But then, the biggest shock of all hit him. Xiao Yan, the person they had suspected all along, wasn't a demon at all. That meant there was no way the Nanda snake demon was inside him. The doctor fell deep into thought. If the gun he analyzed was designed to separate demons from humans, then why had it failed? At that moment, Mike kicked the door open. He stepped forward and commanded, "Everyone, get out of here, except for Xiao Yan." Just then, Ye Fei rushed in, shouting, "Xiao Yan is actually the leader of the snake demon clan." The students panicked and fled. One girl hid behind Ye Fei. Xiao Yan, trembling with fear, cried out, "Please, I swear I'm not a demon." She tried to run, but Mike told the doctor, "Our gun won't hurt normal people." Without hesitation, he fired a shot at Xiao Yan's head, but nothing happened. Mike turned to his vice captain and confirmed, "Xiao Yan is completely fine. There's no demon inside him. That means the real Nanda snake demon must be hiding in someone else." The captain had mentioned earlier that the Nanda snake demon never leaves his host willingly. So even if Xiao Yan wasn't possessed, they still needed to handle him carefully. Mike picked him up, ready to take him away. But Ye Fei yelled, "I saw him transform into a snake demon with my own eyes." As Mike turned to leave, the girl hiding behind Ye Fei suddenly changed her body, twisted into a monstrous form. Before anyone could react, she grabbed Ye Fei's hand and tore it clean off. The real Nanda snake demon had finally revealed himself. Ye Fei stared in horror at his severed hand, unable to comprehend what had just happened. The doctor seized the opportunity and attacked, landing a direct strike on the demon's eye. He analyzed the situation quickly. Nanda had the power of shared vision, meaning he could manipulate others just by looking at them. That explained why so many people had been turning into snake demons. Mike and his team opened fire, but the demon wouldn't go down so easily. Even when Mike slashed at him with his sword, it barely made a dent. Mike turned to his team. "We're dealing with the real Nanda snake demon. He's too strong, I can't injure him." "Don't worry," shouted Yang and Xiaonan. "We'll be there soon." But Mike wasn't one to back down. Meanwhile, chaos spread across the city. The snake demon's parasite was infecting more people, and destruction was unfolding everywhere. The only way to stop it was to kill Nanda. The captain knew this was the city's last chance. "If you want to save the city and the students, you must kill the snake demon," he told Mike. Mike nodded. "Leave it to me." With the help of a sniper, Mike locked onto his target. He wedged his sword between the demon's fangs and forced its mouth open. Then he activated his final trump card, the power of the God of Michael. Instantly, his strength multiplied, setting the stage for the ultimate battle. At one point, both fighters were airborne, locked in battle. Mike, wielding his sword, shattered the bullets into countless fragments, each one striking the Nanda snake demon. Then, unleashing his ultimate power, Mike sliced through the demon, finally completing his mission. Just as the dust settled, Shauna arrived at the scene, only to find the Nanda snake demon defeated. However, she also noticed that one of her comrades had lost an arm in the battle. She quickly informed the captain, who sighed in relief and ordered the team to assist the injured. But as Shauna looked around, she noticed something strange. Dr. Fei seemed unsettled. He couldn't believe that the Nanda snake demon had been taken down so easily. Something felt off. If the demon had the ability to share its vision, why didn't it escape instead of facing certain death? What was it hiding? Who had been lurking in the shadows all along? Dr. Fei suddenly declared, "I know who's behind all of this. Just let me take one shot and you'll see for yourselves." Without hesitation, he fired a bullet straight at Ye Fei. To everyone's shock, the hidden essence of the Nanda snake demon began to emerge from within him. His severed arm regenerated instantly, and the entire team stood frozen in disbelief. Ye Fei had been deceiving them all along. For so long, he had concealed the demon's presence within himself to protect his own life. The Nanda snake demon, now fully exposed, sneered, "How did you figure it out?" Dr. Fei smirked. "It was easier than you think." Meanwhile, Mike found himself trapped inside a supernatural prison one that seemed more like an asylum of the gods. Inside, He came face to face with the true form of the Nanda-snake demon, an eerie young woman who possessed all of the demon's powers, including the ability to take control of others. But here, within these sacred walls, her abilities were completely useless. Mike wasted no time. "Tell me everything. You know why I brought you here? Start talking." A flashback revealed the demon's origins. It had once been a mere entity, hiding in a human host, without any evil intentions, just trying to survive. But then, a mysterious figure approached it with a command: "Find the divine agent." The demon couldn't refuse, as it was powerless against this individual. Mike immediately realized the truth. This had to be someone from the Church of the Ancient God. The memory then shifted to Yefei's past, showing how he and others had discovered that Mike was becoming a divine agent. His extraordinary powers had caught the attention of the Nanda-snake demon clan, forcing them to hatch a plan to capture him. What they didn't expect was that Mike's newly awakened abilities allowed him to see through their disguises. He could distinguish real humans from possessed ones. That made him a grave threat to the entire demon clan, leading them to orchestrate an elaborate scheme to eliminate him. "You had a solid plan," Mike admitted. "Too bad it didn't work." As the battle came to a close, the spirit of the Nanda-snake demon appeared, smirking. "You got lucky. If Yefei hadn't sacrificed his arm, you would have been long dead." It was then revealed that, despite being possessed, Yefei's original personality remained intact. Unlike others, he wasn't completely overtaken by the demon. That's why the Nanda-snake demon had chosen him as its host. It needed a body, but it couldn't fully erase Yefei's consciousness. However, the demon had made one miscalculation. Whenever it took over Yefei's body, his original personality would temporarily sleep, but due to Mike's attack, Yefei suddenly regained control. That's why he sacrificed his arm to save Mike. Though his memories had been wiped multiple times, deep down, Yefei always remembered one thing. He couldn't abandon Mike. Even when it seemed hopeless, something within him refused to let go. And in that moment, even the Nanda-snake demon had to admit, "I've never met a person as pure-hearted as Yefei." As the scene unfolds, the spirit of Yefei manifests inside the prison. Mike, still grappling with the consequences of his actions, finds himself drawn toward it. Tears stream down his face as he checks whether the man's body still holds any purity. That's when Yefei speaks, his voice filled with sorrow. "Mike, everything I have is fake. I'm not real. My family isn't real. My very existence, it's all an illusion." Mike, trying to console him, replies, "Maybe the things connected to you aren't real, but what matters to me is that you are here. You exist, and you risked everything to save me." Yefei, his expression heavy with guilt, responds, "I never wanted to see you hurt again. The last time, it was my fault." Mike, touched by his words, says, "Thank you, Yefei, for saving my life. But listen, you still have a choice, a chance to fight for something." Yefei shakes his head. "No matter what choice I make, I can never return to my world. So what's the point?" Mike sighs. "I don't know if you'll ever go back, but what I do know is that you can stay here as long as you want. Whenever you need me, I'll be here." But the weight of his past still haunts Yefei. As Mike begins to leave, Yefei calls out, "Tell me, Mike, if you were in my place, if you had done everything I did, what would you do?" Mike looks at him knowingly. "You already know the answer to that." Overwhelmed, Yefei breaks down, his sobs echoing through the prison. As his tears hit the ground, a strange energy emerges. Suddenly, a parchment and a pen materialize in front of Mike. The parchment holds the story of Yefei's past and his unwritten future. Flashes of Yefei's memories flood the screen, revealing his former humanity. Though his body now harbors the Nanda-snake demon, his memories prove he was and still is human. Mike urges him, "The most important thing now is for you to find your purpose in this world." Handing the pen to Yefei, Mike gives him the chance to write his own destiny. Yefei takes it, determined to shape his future. As he writes, his dormant powers begin to awaken. In the next scene, we see the moon goddess, resting in a celestial garden. As Mike approaches, she smiles warmly. "I'm glad you came, my child, But Mike isn't alone. He's brought someone with him. Li Fei steps forward, hesitant, unsure how to introduce himself. The moon goddess gazes at him for a long time, trying to understand their connection. Then, in a sudden moment of realization, she rushes forward, embracing him. Sanji, my child, you finally returned. Your grandmother has been waiting for you for so many years. Shocked, Li Fei turns to Mike, who simply nods. This is your responsibility now. This entire realm belongs to you. The moon goddess, her voice trembling with emotion, asks, Do you not recognize me? When you were little, I always held you close. Li Fei, deeply moved, embraces her. Grandmother, I remember. I love you just as I always have. She smiles through her tears. You've grown so much, and look at you. You've gotten stronger, healthier. Li Fei chuckles. That's thanks to my father. He's always made sure I was well fed. The moon goddess gently places a hand on his cheek. Now that you're here, never leave us again. This is your home, your family. Li Fei nods. I promise, grandmother, I'll never leave you again. As they embrace, a surge of energy courses through Mike. His power level rises to 23, a significant leap. Just then, we cut to a new scene where the doctor, who had once revealed the truth to Mike, warns that an even greater shift is coming. In the final moments, we see Mike standing with the team captain, discussing recent events. Everything that happened, all the Nanda-Snake Demon Clan members we encountered, was orchestrated by the Church of the Ancient God. Just then, Mr. Mu enters the scene, bringing with him another revelation that will change everything. The scene shifts to a team member reporting to their leader. Yes, team leader. I've silenced all the students, erased their memories, and cleaned up everything that was scattered across the campus. But there's something important I need to tell you. The Nanda Snake Demon's body. Its head is missing. It looks like someone cut it off and took it. We then transition to an elderly woman, lovingly cared for by a girl named Hung. She receives a small letter. The message inside reads, You don't need to worry about your rent or any expenses anymore. Everything has been fully paid off. You can stay here as long as you want and continue your passion for learning. Overwhelmed, she soon realizes something even more shocking. The mysterious benefactor didn't just pay her rent. They bought the entire house and transferred it to her name. Just then, a young boy runs in, shouting excitedly, Grandma, the person who paid for everything also got you a brand new computer, and they registered it in your name. That means only you can use it. No. Meanwhile, the scene shifts again. A shadowy figure pushes a medical cart through a dimly lit hallway. The camera pans up. It's none other than the brilliant yet enigmatic scientist, Dr. Dave. Dave enters a heavily secured lab, a place so secret that only he can access it. The door unlocks at the touch of his fingerprint. Inside, the room is lined with preserved demon fossils and grotesque body parts, remnants of his relentless research into both humans and demons. He carefully sets down his bag, and inside, the severed head of the Nanda Snake Demon. For months, he had been obsessed with uncovering the secrets of this legendary creature. Now he finally had its head in his possession. Slipping on surgical gloves, he grabs his equipment and begins dissecting the head with unnerving precision. His blade is so sharp that in one stroke the head splits into several pieces. As he examines the remains, his eyes widen in fascination. There's something unusual about this demon's head, an energy unlike anything he's encountered before. A sinister grin spreads across his face. Was he merely a scientist, or had he become something much darker? His hunger for power is undeniable. Without hesitation, he picks up the demon's glowing energy core, and, for reasons unknown, a live rat. The story jumps forward to a training ground. Mike, a young warrior, is sparring fiercely with his captain. Mike, you've reached your limit, the captain warns. If you push any further, you'll lose. But Mike refuses to back down. Don't worry about me, Captain. I can still fight. The captain sighs, recognizing the boy's potential. The two warriors clash again, their fight intensifying. In his mind, the captain acknowledges just how fast Mike is progressing. You're improving at an unbelievable pace, kid. Just a little more training, and we'll send you to the Night Monster Slayer's training camp. Mike hesitates. Wait, is this because of the Church of the Ancient God? Do you think they're a threat to me? The captain shakes his head. Forget about them. What matters is that every night monster slayer must complete that training. Who knows? You might even make some new friends there, people with abilities like yours. Focus on your training. Don't disappoint the team. Mike clenches his fists, determination burning in his eyes. I won't let you down. The scene shifts once more to the Army headquarters. High-ranking officers discuss a major change in their training system. Colonel Jiang leans forward. We need to relocate our training camp. It used to be in Songsong City, but we should move it to Kangnang City. The new recruits are bringing in unique abilities, and we must adapt. General Yuva listens carefully before responding. That's a big decision. Where exactly do you propose we build this new facility? Jiang smirks slightly. General, the less you know about this, the better. Just trust me. We've trained some of the strongest soldiers under your command. But if we change the way we train them, imagine what we could achieve. General Yuvan says, I don't even understand what exactly you're trying to do. And on top of that, how can I give you such a huge amount of money for this mission? He hesitates and tells Jiang, I have a feeling you might just waste it all. Jiang responds confidently, I have someone who will live up to your expectations. In the next scene, we see a high-stakes gambling house, where a group of extremely wealthy and arrogant individuals are engaged in a high-risk game. Their smug expressions make it clear they are used to winning. Among them sits a young man, later introduced as Bailey Toomey, the young master of the Bailey Group. Bailey Toomey turns out to be a cunning gambler. Single-handedly, he defeats 3 of the most skilled players. As he gathers his winnings, he smirks and says, Thanks for playing, gentlemen. However, the other players can't believe they lost to a kid. They accuse him of cheating and demand their money back. Just as tensions rise, the doors swing open and a group of intimidating men enter members of the Bailey Group. Bailey Damon, another prominent figure, smirks and says, I had a great time playing chess and cards with you guys. As the Bailey Group members step forward menacingly, the defeated gamblers start sweating, fearing for their lives. But then, to their shock, they are presented with priceless treasures. Bailey Toomey grins and says, Consider these gifts a token of friendship. Relax, enjoy, and celebrate. Stunned by the gesture, the gamblers are left speechless. Bailey Toomey then announces his plan to travel to Kangdong City. He insists on driving himself and instructs his men, Inform the airport I'm leaving for Kangdong City tonight. In the following scene, a young woman is surrounded by a group of men harassing her. They mockingly say, Don't be scared. We just want to be friends. What's there to be afraid of? We won't hurt you. But their intentions quickly turn sinister. Just as one of them reaches out to grab her, a cold drink can flies through the air, hitting him squarely in the head. A group of men enters, exuding a heroic aura. Their leader, Shan Kinju, steps forward and commands, Take these lowlifes down! His team immediately attacks, beating the harassers mercilessly. Shan Kinju retrieves the girl's bag and hands it back to her. Grateful, she thanks him and leaves. Shan Kinju watches the defeated thugs and warns his team, Whether I'm here or not, our rules must always be upheld. His strict code earns him deep respect from his men. But just as they regain control, another gang enters the scene dressed in pristine white suits. Shan Kinju picks up a baseball bat, signaling that a brutal showdown is about to begin. The fight erupts instantly. In the next scene, we shift to a secluded traditional academy. Here, a man named Kao Yu sits in deep meditation amidst the practice mountains of Kangnan. Suddenly, a monk appears and says, It's time for you to leave. As Kao Yu rises, it feels as though he's emerging from the depths of hell itself. Dark energy clings to him, a manifestation of his inner demons. The monk solemnly reminds him, Taking a life is a grave sin, but when it comes to survival, one must fight to exist. He then delivers a final message. There is someone noble waiting for you in Kangdong City. This opportunity is not just a chance for redemption, but also a path to cleanse yourself of negativity and embrace positive energy. Kang Yuvan asks, Who is this noble person whose mere presence will change everything for me. The monk gives him a riddle, saying, "Solve this, and you'll find all your answers on your own." This riddle lingers in Kang Yuvan's mind, making him wonder who this person is and how they will change his life. In the next scene, we see the Church of the Ancient Gods, which has now learned about the new divine agent Mike. Their mission is clear. They must find him at all costs. A man named God Yu speaks up, admitting, "Sorry, we still haven't found him." Then, we cut to another scene featuring Yang, who asks, "Why were we evacuated in the middle of the night?" The captain replies, "Please, don't tell anyone about this yet. We fear the worst might happen." Meanwhile, Hung Yang enters a house she had bought for her grandmother. The moment she opens the door, a massive explosion destroys the entire house. This was all part of God Yu's sinister plan. He is willing to use any means necessary to capture Mike. Hung Yang barely escapes, but the destruction leaves her shaken. At the airport, we meet two new characters, a woman who is actually Medusa's divine agent and a man named Lulia. When Lulia sees her, he exclaims, "Liz! It's been so long since we've met." Liz responds, "I've missed you so much. Time felt endless without you." The two embrace and share a passionate kiss less like divine agents, and more like long-lost lovers. Then, we are introduced to Han Xian, who declares, "I must find that special divine agent. I need to unite all the divine agents together." Just then, we see several vehicles in pursuit of a target. The captain contacts Hung Yang and asks, "Are you safe?" She reassures him, "Yes, I'm perfectly fine," revealing that she too is a divine agent. Captain asks her, "What exactly happened there?" Hung Yang finds herself face to face with a member of the Church of the Ancient God. She immediately gets ready for battle, drawing her spear and launching one of her strongest attacks. However, she doesn't strike to kill her opponent, doesn't even defend himself. Instead, he wants to talk. He is here to negotiate. His plan is to approach every divine agent, offering them a choice: join him or die. God Yu has one ultimate goal, the death of Mike. This is why the captains and their team are deeply worried. Under no circumstances can Mike fall into the hands of the Church of the Ancient God. Meanwhile, Mike arrives near the Jinan Mountains, close to Kangnang City. He wonders aloud, "Why am I carrying so much gear?" Soon, he reaches an army base camp. But this isn't an ordinary training camp. It looks like an entire city. The arrival of an unknown newcomer raises suspicion. The control room broadcasts a message: "Identify yourself immediately." It has been years since a divine agent set foot here, and the sudden appearance of one puts everyone on edge. They don't know whether this newcomer is a friend or foe. Then someone spots Mike and exclaims, "Wait, he's just a kid!" Mike, unshaken, responds, "Sir, if someone's inside, please let me in." At that moment, General Yuvan steps in, ordering, "What are you waiting for? Bring him in. He is someone very special." Some officers hesitate and ask Chief Yuvan, "Are you sure this is the divine agent we've been hearing about? Can you tell us which god he serves? What makes him special?" Yuvan reveals, "This boy is the divine agent of Archangel Michael." An officer scoffs, "Look at him, he's just a kid." Yuvan, however, smiles and says, "I've already seen him, and now I'm excited to witness his abilities firsthand. There must be something extraordinary about him, after all. God Michael himself chose him." As Mike enters the facility, he learns from an officer, "With your arrival, the total number of recruits in this special program is now 239. Mike, surprised, replies, "Wow, so many people have joined?" The officer says, "Yeah, that might be true because the number of night monster slayers is extremely low. But who told you that everyone can just join the team? You don't even know what's going to happen here or how things work. Only those who survive till the very end will be able to join." Hearing this, Mike is a bit shocked. The officer continues, "A lot of money has been invested in your training. Let's see how useful that turns out to be. And don't assume that these new buildings you see here are just temporary. Also, don't think that we lack any facilities. I can assure you, we haven't left a single gap for you to find any faults because when the explosions begin, you're going to love them." We see massive amounts of RDX being brought in, and the recruits who have already joined the army look completely worn out. Their training is brutal, almost casual in its cruelty. The trainers are fixated on the agents of God Michael, and it's not just them. Even the other recruits stare at Mike intensely. The officer reassures him, "Don't worry, you're special," which is why everyone wants to know about you. There are many powerful and talented people here. Mike asks, "Has anyone else like me ever joined this training before? Another divine agent?" The officer replies, "Yes, there have been. They're known as the Mask Army Captains. Have you ever heard of them?" Mike nods. "Yeah, I've heard of them before. Aren't they God's agents too?" The officer smirks. "They are, but they also do things that you'll find out soon enough." Now, Mike finally arrives at the dormitory where he'll be staying for his training. The place is called the 39 Recruit Training Base, and this will be his home for an entire year. "Hope you never forget this year for the rest of your life," the officer adds. Mike enters the training base and heads to his assigned room when he hears a commotion inside. Someone is being bullied. He thinks to himself, "All right, time to play the hero." Just then, a guy gets thrown out of the room and 2 guards drag him away. Mike steps in and sees a recruit named Toomey. The room is decorated, filled with gifts that Toomey has arranged for his new roommate, Mike. He's overjoyed, thinking that once Mike sees the presents, they'll become lifelong friends. "Hey, listen up," Mike calls out. Startled, Toomey turns around but trips over the gifts and falls. He quickly introduces himself. "Hey, man, my name is Bailey Toomey. I know it's a weird name, so feel free to just call me Toomey. Or if you prefer, you can even call me Mr. Fatty. I'd actually love that. Roommate, let's be friends, okay? I mean, we'll be stuck together for an entire year. So, if you have anything to say, just go for it." Mike smiles. "Nice to meet you, buddy. I'm Mike Dooming. And there was no need to do all this for me. I'm not a kid." Toomey chuckles. "All right, Mike. I won't go overboard, but at least check out what I got you. I know they aren't that valuable, but I think you'll like them." He gestures to a collection of gold and diamond watches. Mike is completely stunned. "Wait, what?" Seeing his reaction, Toomey nervously says, "Oh, you don't like them, huh?" He then pulls out a Patek Philippe watch, his personal favorite, and starts handing over more and more gifts. Mike's hands are soon overflowing, and he doesn't know what to do. Hold on, Toomey, does your family own a watch business or something?" Toomey laughs. "Nope, not at all. My family just runs a small business, but forget about that. Don't think too much about what I do or how I do it. Just see me as a normal kid from a normal family. I'm not some spoiled rich brat, I'm just really, really friendly." Suddenly, a loud voice echoes from the training grounds. "All new recruits, put on your military uniforms and report to the training ground immediately. If I see anyone moving slowly, don't blame me if you end up dead." The moment they hear this, every single recruit rushes to the field. All the recruits were already dressed in their uniforms when the chief stepped forward and said, "Hey everyone, if you don't know me yet, let me introduce myself. I'm Gang Yuan, the chief instructor of this entire training camp. And the most important thing you need to understand is this. I don't care where you come from, what family you belong to, what your past was, or what you've done before now. None of that matters to me. From the moment you set foot here, you all have only one identity. You are new recruits and absolute beginners. That means none of you outrank a senior. But to be honest, I wouldn't even call you beginners. In my eyes, you're worse than that. The worst recruits I've ever seen. If any of you feel ashamed of yourselves, then maybe, just maybe, you have the guts to improve. Now, imagine what would happen if you had to fight real villains in this condition. I doubt a single one of you could dodge even one attack. Just then, a new recruit raised his hand. The entire room went silent, shocked by his audacity. "Chief, I don't believe you," he said firmly. Everyone turned to look at him, stunned. The chief stared him down. "State your name, recruit." Shine Kinjo, sir." The chief then scanned the room. "Does anyone else feel the same way? Speak now." A murmur spread among the recruits, and soon, several others stepped forward. "Yeah, chief. We're not just beginners. We can handle more than just 1 or 2 moves. How can you judge our abilities without even testing us?" The defiance spread like wildfire. Tommy turned to his roommate, Mike. "What do you think, man? Do you agree with him?" Mike smirked. "If you're sure, then yeah, I can handle it too." Tommy shook his head. "If you won't back down, then neither will I." The chief's expression darkened. Your decision might just be your downfall, he said ominously. Then, with a smirk, he added, All right then, it's time for you to meet some special guests. They're about to arrive. Suddenly, figures began descending from the sky. The entire camp watched in awe as 5 warriors made a dramatic entrance. The background music swelled, adding to the sheer intensity of the moment. But this wasn't just for show. These weren't ordinary soldiers. They were divine agents. The ground shook as they landed. The mere presence of these 5 warriors sent a chill down the recruits' spines. The camp's regular army personnel had already retreated, leaving the recruits at the mercy of these elite fighters. Mike's eyes locked onto the team. Among them was a woman named Miss Rose, while their captain was called Mr. King. Then another figure stepped forward, Mr. Vertex. The moment he arrived, tension filled the air. Some recruits couldn't help but chuckle at one of the newcomers, who looked unusually nervous. Tux, one of the agents, turned to his captain. You know I'm terrified of heights, right? Before anyone could react further, the chief's voice boomed across the camp. All right, recruits, meet the face mask team. These warriors will be your opponents today. But don't worry. They won't use their full power against you. They'll fight within a controlled limit. Your objective is simple. If any of you manage to remove a single mask from one of these fighters, you win. They will stop attacking immediately. But if you fail, then from this moment on, you will obey every single one of my commands without question. Understood? The recruits whispered among themselves. That they must be second-class fighters, someone muttered. They might be powerful, but they're arrogant as hell. One recruit grinned. Relax. We'll rip their masks off in no time. But the moment he finished speaking, Mr. King launched a devastating attack on him. The force sent shockwaves across the training ground. Kids, Mr. King said, cracking his knuckles. Looks like the fight has officially begun. And with that, the real battle started. Mr. Vertex, being a divine agent himself, had an incredible god-level power. Using his abilities, he began dropping massive rocks from above. Right after that, we see the female member of the team, Miss Rose, step into action. Her specialty was wielding a hammer, not just any hammer, but a heavenly weapon. The moment she swung it, she wiped out more than half of the enemies in a single strike. Inside headquarters, the officers watching the battle were in shock. These masked soldiers are unbelievably dangerous. They've already taken out half the enemies. The real question is, who can even stand against them? That's when we learned that Mask Army's power level was truly off the charts. Some of the weaker fighters managed to escape, prompting Chief Sren to remark, Now look at that, those with real skill are the ones who got away. They survived the initial onslaught and fled before things got worse. Then, Mr. King stepped forward and declared, None of us are holding back anymore. No matter who or what stands in our way, eliminate them. Not a single one should be left alive. Immediately, his 4 elite members shot forward at lightning speed. But Mr. King's eyes were locked onto Mike, who had already started running even before the battle had begun. We then cut to Mike and his overweight friend, who were hiding in a newly discovered shelter. Mike turned to him and said, If we had a weapon, we might actually stand a chance in this fight. Tom replied nervously, But what if we don't? Then what do we do? At that moment, a breathtakingly beautiful woman appeared behind them. The sight of her made Tom's eyes sparkle. He was completely smitten. She was stunning, and as she tied her hair back with a headband, it was clear she was about to unleash chaos. She approached the door Mike had been struggling to open. Without hesitation, she used her powers, making the door vibrate violently. The entire environment shook along with it. The moment she placed her hand on the door, it shattered in an instant. Tom was in complete awe of her power, beauty, and abilities. As soon as the door to the weapon house opened, everyone rushed inside, searching for the best weapons they could find. Some grabbed rifles, others picked up pistols and shotguns. But the beautiful woman? She chose a sword. As she prepared to leave, Mike warned her, There are 5 masked men out there. They're so powerful that none of us stand a chance against them alone. If we don't fight together, forget about winning. Our survival is impossible. The woman smirked and said, You're right. You alone aren't strong enough to beat them, so tell me, what's your plan? Before anything else, she introduced herself. My name is Soldier Molly. My ability is called Forward and Reverse Sequence 076. I can move anything in any way I desire. She belonged to the elite sect known as Ward Sect Mo Clan. Mike quickly introduced himself as well. I'm Mike. Before he could say more, another figure stepped forward. Hello, Miss Molly. Nice to meet you. I'm Bailey Taming. He immediately gifted her a diamond-encrusted watch. I don't have any fancy forward and reverse powers, he admitted. I'm just an ordinary guy from a simple family. Before the conversation could continue, Mike suddenly launched a devastating attack, seemingly aimed at Molly. But at the last moment, she dodged effortlessly. It turned out the real target was a masked man who had just entered the scene. The masked man smirked. I can't believe you can see my invisible form. Your abilities are impressive. Molly, without hesitation, drew her sword and attacked him. A massive explosion followed, but the masked man remained completely unharmed. He chuckled. You guys are even stronger than I expected. If this is how things are going to be, then I guess it's time for me to reveal some of my special abilities. Molly was stunned when she saw him regenerate his hand in an instant. Mike muttered, No, he didn't regenerate it. He can manipulate his body however he wants. Because he possesses a unique ability to break down his body at a molecular level, he can dodge even the fastest attacks. However, at this moment, the masked man was completely surrounded. Looking around, he smirked and said, I didn't expect this to happen to me. But the real question is, do you guys have any idea what's about to happen to you? Mike turned to his team and said, Guys, he's alone. That means we have a good chance. If we can just get his mask off, we win. The masked man chuckled and asked Taming, Tell me, what's your weapon of choice? Taming replied confidently, I don't really use weapons, but don't worry, I'm ready. And don't you dare mistake me for a coward. At his command, his allies rushed in for the attack. But their attacks were useless against him. The moment they struck, he dodged effortlessly, using his special ability. Mike lunged with his sword, and for a second it seemed like he landed a hit. But as soon as he followed up with more swings, the masked man dissolved and reappeared, dodging every strike with ease. Just then, Molly arrived to assist Mike. The two of them attacked with full force. But no matter how hard they tried, the masked man evaded everything. Taming attempted a flying kick, but it had no effect. His ability to break down his body at a molecular level made him untouchable. Then another fighter entered the battlefield, someone with the power to reverse gravity. Suddenly, everything flipped upside down, and the new students found themselves at a severe disadvantage. The entire battlefield shifted, and attacks rained down from Miss Rose, who opened portals and hurled objects at them. Mike and his team barely managed to dodge, and then 3 masked figures appeared. You kids are trapped, one of them sneered. Tell me, how do you plan on escaping now? Everything around them started moving unpredictably, and even the ground beneath Mike and his team became unstable. He saw one of his friends falling rapidly toward the ground, about to crash hard. Without hesitation, Mike grabbed his hand and pulled him to safety. We're nothing like them, Mike muttered before turning to Molly. Our next move should be to trick them and escape from here, no matter what. Molly nodded. No, don't worry, Mike. I won't leave your side. At that moment, Ms. Rose launched a devastating hammer attack, knocking Taming far away. Her next attack was aimed at Molly and Mike, but they managed to dodge just in time. Mike pressed forward, slashing through the obstacles in his path. Seeing his determination, their enemies unleashed Moon Ghost to take him down. But Mike wasn't backing down either. As soon as the fight began, Moon Ghost realized that Mike wasn't an ordinary fighter. What kind of divine agent are you? Moon Ghost asked. If you really are one, why don't you show me your true abilities? Mike smirked. Even without using his full power, he was overwhelming Moon Ghost. Panicked, Moon Ghost tried to escape, but Mike was relentless in his pursuit. Just as Moon Ghost attempted a sneak attack, Mike dodged effortlessly and smirked. Oh, so you want to see my real abilities? Fine. I'll show you what God Michael is capable of. The moment Mike unleashed his full power, Moon Ghost had no choice but to flee. But just as he tried to escape, their enemies launched another trap. Boxes surrounded Mike, and Miss Rose declared, Let me finish this. As the boxes flew toward him, Mike called out to Molly. These boxes, they're packed with explosives. A massive explosion erupted, shaking the entire battlefield. But Mike, along with his team, managed to survive. And just as their enemies thought they had the upper hand, Taming and the others countered with an even bigger explosion, forcing Mr. Vertex to activate his powers for protection. Meanwhile, Mike's hidden allies took advantage of the chaos. They launched another wave of attacks, throwing packets of highly explosive material at their enemies. "So?" one of them taunted. "What do you think of our little trick?" The resulting explosion was massive, forcing even Mr. King and his forces to retreat. But before they could retaliate, Mike and his team had already escaped, hiding in another location, preparing for their next move. Mr. King says, "All right, let's get moving. There are plenty more surprises waiting for us." Meanwhile, on a rooftop, we see Toomey telling his friends, "Look, we're completely safe here. There's no way they can catch us, and there's nothing they can do to us." Molly then turns to Mike and asks, "So, what do we do now?" Mike replies, "Well, I can pretty much guess that the only people left are those like us, people with the same powers. They're probably hiding in secret locations of the training camp, forming their own groups. But we need to find the largest dormitory because I'm sure most of the survivors will be there. Of course, the fight there will be intense, but it's also the best hiding spot. Our first priority is figuring out how to remove the mask from at least one of the 5. At this moment, we see the largest dormitory, where a group of people is searching for a better hiding place. One of them asks, "You didn't bring me here to save me, did you? Why are you trying to take me to another hidden location?" The other person responds, "Do you really want to stay here and get eliminated?" Suddenly, explosions erupt in the dormitory. Many of the students have weapons, but they lack the abilities to fight the masked men. The masked men move quickly, launching surprise attacks and eliminating students one by one. The Moon Ghost, known for his incredible speed, is attacking so fast that the students don't even realize where the strikes are coming from. In the blink of an eye, they're overwhelmed by a barrage of attacks, unable to fight back. One student tries to use a gun, but even that doesn't help. Then we see a new figure standing in the midst of the chaos, San Kinju. He smirks and says, "I didn't expect you to be the first ones here, but now that you're in front of me, stopping me might be a little difficult for you. Maybe it's beyond your capability." With that, San Kinju blows out a bubble, no ordinary bubble, but one that creates a vacuum. Moon Ghost and the remaining students are caught inside, and suddenly they struggle to breathe. Oxygen levels drop rapidly, and their bodies begin to weaken. San Kinju continues, "You may not hear my voice inside the bubble, but you can read my lips. This vacuum zone won't kill anyone instantly, but as the oxygen levels decrease, their blood vessels will start to collapse. In about 10 seconds, their bodies will start shutting down. Eventually, the lack of oxygen will cause fatal blood blockages." As Moon Ghost watches helplessly, he clenches his fists and shouts, "Are you insane? How can you be so cruel?" San Kinju smirks. "Don't worry. If you remove your mask, I'll release the vacuum. Or you can kill me, but even if you do, you won't be able to save them in time. Now, my dear friend, make your choice." They can only hold their breath for 5 more seconds. As the countdown begins, Moon Ghost reluctantly reaches for his mask, unwilling to let innocent lives be lost because of him. But just as he's about to remove it, Miss Rose makes a dramatic entrance. She swings her hammer, striking San Kinju before he can finish his plan. The impact sends him crashing through the dormitory wall. Miss Rose shouts, "Stop pretending, run for your lives." As it turns out, the vacuum bubble had no real effect on the students. Furious, Moon Ghost lunges at San Kinju, launching a powerful attack. But San Kinju simply creates another bubble, using its force to knock Moon Ghost back with a devastating explosion. In the next scene, we see Captain talking to his team about the members of the Church of the Ancient God. This time, a much larger group has been dispatched. Someone asks the captain about the situation, and he responds, "We're still gathering intel." Then, we see a room where Hungang has finally captured a member of the Church of the Ascended God. They are mercilessly beating him, and Hungang has hit him so brutally that his entire body is falling apart. Want to know what they'll do to the member of the Church of the Ascended God? Stay tuned for the next part.